lifting, because in essence, we had to do everything on handshakes. You're not going to get everything documented, but you're talking about the most honorable parties on earth, the mayor, Fox, Liberty Media. When they shake your hand, it's gold. And so we got it all done, and here we are.
What was it like this is 1997, so no e-transfers. What was it like to tell the Rangers, to quote a song, to take this and shove it? Who made the call and said, by the way, here's the check for Joe Sakic, bye-bye, NYC?
Well, Pierre went to Joe's house and delivered the money. I got up with Liberty and Fox and the mayor and at City Hall, and we announced the arena deal, Fox and Liberty. And we were coordinated. It was choreographed. And then I was a speechwriter when I was a kid, and I had the blessing to do some work for the governor of New York when he was vice president, Nelson Rockefeller, and he had that famous picture where he was being heckled, and he offered his opinion of that. And that picture of him flipping the bird was, I figured, a nice gift to send Dave Checketts, who was a good friend of mine, by the way.
I love it. I never knew that. I love it.
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 86, and the S.
You're listening to NHL Play-by-Play on Sirius XM.
In their series with Boston on the way to the opening faceoff, we should think about what to expect tonight. Coach Sheldon Keefe has an idea.
Each shift in each game is going to continue to get harder. Boston's going to push back real hard tonight, and we'll have to be ready for that. That even the other night we liked our game a lot. There's not a lot between the two teams here, so we'll have to be really good again here tonight, clearly.
If it's about defending home ice, Mitch Marner has a few thoughts.
Obviously, we got to be ready for their push. And we got to make sure that we come with our own at the start of this game, and we kind of dictate the pace. A lot of buzz, a lot of excitement, so we're excited for that. It's just about doing the same thing that you've done all year and just trusting your team and yourself.
And Matt Stomey has made a difference, and Morgan Riley has noticed.
I feel like we've all tried to ramp it up a bit, and obviously Max is, at the forefront of that just with how he plays, and we're grateful to have him, and he's had a great season for us, and to watch him ramp it up in the playoffs, it's fun.
Welcome to Leafs Game Night live from Scotiabank Arena. Jim Taddy and Frank Corrado reporting. Yes, it's Game 3 night at Frankie C. Plenty of build-up in the building so far.
And I like the feeling in this building, Jimmy. The boys are out there for warm-up, and it is a full slate for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm looking now to see if we can spot William Nylander, and I'm have the help of Jimmy Ralph next to me. I don't think I see William Nylander on the ice, Jimmy, so it doesn't look like Nylander's going to be back in the lineup. Gregor's out there, Brody's out there, Nick Robertson is out there. So doesn't look like William Nylander will be in the lineup, but Austin Matthews, who did not skate this morning, out there for the warm-up. So it looks like Austin Matthews, coming off a big game, is ready to go.
And that was a statement goal, wasn't it?
It was a statement goal. More importantly, it was a statement game for Austin Matthews. You look around at the playoffs and you see some of these teams like the Winnipeg Jets. They had the Adam Lowry night where he scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
The Vancouver Canucks had the Dakota Joshua night where he had a big game. And you look at your team here and you think, why don't we have that? Why doesn't our star player bring that to the table? And sure enough, Austin Matthews did that against the Boston Bruins in Game 2. He gets 2 assists. He gets the big goal. And I love that goal because it's a different Austin Matthews goal. How many times do we see him with that same shot or the breakaway move where it's the backhand between the legs? That was a different one. And he was a beast all night long, and he will look to continue that on home ice.
And so the big question comes out of that, will Mitch Marner follow suit?
That is exactly the question. Mitch Marner has been criticized the last week or so for his play. And listen, he has set the bar very high, being one of the best right wingers in the NHL, being a player who's constantly pushing up to 100 points. And when it comes playoff time, Jimmy, as you know, everyone is being asked to do a little bit more. The goaltender is asked to do a little bit more. The D-corps asked to defend a little harder, to block more shots, to get up in the play a little bit more. And the star players, Mitch Marner included, have to find a way to push through the Boston Bruins, making life more difficult for them, making the ice smaller for them, and it's not going to be easy. Like, this Boston team has found a way to keep Marner to the outside of the ice, but now on home ice, you think that you're going to get a matchup that's a little more favorable, and Matthews having the big night buys a little more time for Mitch Marner to come back on home ice, go head-to-head against David Pastrnak, and try and get the most out of that situation and get the upper hand for the Leafs.
Well, and a little more. That goes on by the shift in the game. You could see the build in the game on Monday night, and it was evident, and the Leafs responded that way. As you go along in the playoffs, it never gets easier, does it?
It doesn't. And, you know, I made this analogy after the game, Jimmy, on SportsCenter. You know the song by The Who, We Won't Get Fooled Again?
Yeah.
It felt like that was applicable for the Leafs in Game 2, where how many times have we watched them play the Bruins and they fall into that trap, or they fall into a little bit of a lull in that game where it's like Boston makes it boring, they slow it down to their pace, and Toronto, someone will do something that kills the momentum and it leads to the big error, and they never find a way to get it back. You could say that error happened at the end of the first period, where it's a missed assignment off the faceoff, and David Pastrnak scores the goal. You were the first text I got when that happened, by the way.
Yeah.
But they didn't let that derail them in the game. And I think that goes to show you, like, maybe they've started to figure out how you play Boston. It has to be a little more of a patient game. As much as you want to get after it and play physical and play with the puck, all those kinds of things, you still have to find ways to be patient and wait for your opportunities, because at some point they will present themselves in this game.
Well, the big moment happens when you don't respond to it, and suddenly that's the standalone. And you could easily say the Austin Matthews goal was the big moment for the Leafs because the Bruins didn't score. So that's there's two parts of that equation.
Well, why didn't the Bruins score? There's another big moment. Ilya Samsonov had that massive save on Brad Marchand, and talk about a bounce-back performance for him where, you know, I don't know how you felt after Game 1. You and I talked about it, but it more felt like he was fine. He was just okay. It was nothing special. And the challenge for him in Game 2 was going to be better than that. Be better than just okay. And he was in a big way. He settled into that game. He made a number of big saves. But the thing I like the most is how competitive he was in the net. You know, in Game 1, Jimmy, it felt like Samsonov, if someone was in front of him, he was going to look on one side, and if he couldn't track the puck, so be it. I looked on one side and I couldn't get it. But in Game 2, he battled through that traffic. He really made sure that if there was going to be a second opportunity, he was on it. And that competitive edge, he will have to carry through into tonight, because that is when he is at his best. And the Boston Bruins will always be putting things towards the net, looking for second opportunities. And by the way, we take a look now at Boston's side of the ice, and it is Jeremy Swayman back in net for the Boston Bruins. So we will get a Swayman versus Samsonov tilt tonight in net.
Okay, so there's two questions that come out of what you just said. One of them is the goaltending thing, where the Bruins seem to be locked into alternating, because they have done that for at least the full second half of the regular season. So they're locked into that. Can that be a detriment?
It can, but last year was a detriment to them too, where they did the rotation all season long, and then they decided to go with Linus Ullmark in the playoffs. It wasn't until Game 7 that they went to Jeremy Swayman, and it was too late. They ended up losing that series. So they have a plan. They're going to stick with that plan. Doesn't mean that's set in stone, but at least for the time being, you want to give that a little bit of runway to see how it looks and see if your team can keep the momentum that they had going while doing that. Jeremy Swayman's a really good goalie.
Oh, they both are.
And it's not like when you put Ullmark in net, it's not like you have a beer league goalie in net. This is a guy that won the Vezina last season. He's a very good goalie in his own right. And quite honestly, he had a really good game. Like, he made that save on Kalle Järnkrok right on the goal line where, like, that's another one there. The game could have changed at that point. It would, so Ullmark had a good game. I imagine Swayman is going to have a good game tonight. And that's the thing about the Bruins is there's one constant with this team. They are always going to have a good goaltender in the net. Their goalies are going to give them a chance to win. So that's not something you can account for, really, when you think about the Bruins, them having a leaky faucet in net.
Now, another question. What was the difference between game 1 and 2 for Boston? Because to me, they played the same game.
Well, exactly. They played the same game, and they didn't capitalize on their chances. They still scored a power play goal, so the Leafs' penalty kill needs to be better. Toronto was still undisciplined at times. That is something Toronto is going to have to look to rectify here. But the thing you can say about Boston is they're one of those teams that will wait for you to make the mistake. And I think that works into the favor of the Maple Leafs because the Maple Leafs are able to carry the play. They're the ones who are able to spend more time in the offensive zone. They are the ones that are able to outshoot the Bruins, to outchance the Bruins. The Bruins are going to wait for you to make your mistakes, but as long as you're not undisciplined and you don't make those mistakes and you don't feed into their transition game, you're going to give yourself a really good opportunity to win that game. And one thing the Leafs have done a good job of so far in this series is we haven't had the Pasternak night. We haven't had the night where Pasternak goes off for 2 goals and an assist and they don't have an answer for him. And that has been the case basically every time these two teams have played in the regular season. Pasternak has his way with this team and they don't have an answer for him. They have had an answer for him through 2 games in this series.
Okay, so another question that comes to mind is, and I don't know that you would, like, we can't proclaim the lineup now. It's a playoff game, so things could change in the next 15 minutes. But the fact that they went with the same blue line in game 2 as they did in game 1, did that surprise you?
It did not surprise me, not at all. I think this is the blue line that gives you the best opportunity to win on any given night. And maybe you would think that bringing TJ Brody into the lineup would saw it off. Like if you wanted to bring someone out, Brody would be the guy that comes in. But I have no problem with them rolling this back. Like Joel Edmondson had a really good game in game 2. He was a monster. He played over 20 minutes. Simon Benoit is playing a lot of tough minutes against Pasternak, and he's doing a really good job. Outside of that one missed face-off assignment at the end of the first period, that's a really strong game for him. So, there's also something to be said, Jimmy, for giving your guys a little runway to play. Like, if you want to pull the plug after one game and then another game pull the plug again, like, you're not getting enough continuity with your pairs and with your lineup. I think you do have to let them gel for a certain amount of time, and then you can tinker with things as things move on. You also have to remember, this is the playoffs. You're blocking a lot of shots. You're hitting a little bit more. You're in more scrums. You're in more battles. There's a chance guys are going to be hurt. Guys are going to be banged up. So at some point, you probably do end up making lineup changes based on that alone.
Okay, well, at this segment on this question, tied at 1 after 2 games. In terms of what was happening on the ice, how is that, or is it any different than what you would have expected?
It's not any different than what I would have expected. For me, this series is going to go the distance, and when you get to Game 7, flip a coin. Yeah. Who's going to have the big night? Who's going to have the big moment? You look around the league, you watch games in the playoffs, the Florida Panthers have owned the big moment recently. Like last night, Sergei Bobrovsky has the massive save. Verhaeghe gets the overtime goal. And now Verhaeghe all of a sudden is 3rd all-time in NHL playoff goals. He's behind Joe Sakic, who's at 8. 11 games in a row now, playoff games, where the Florida Panthers have won in overtime. Like, they constantly win the big moment. And if Toronto has won a few more big moments along the way, we wouldn't be talking about the Leafs the way we do. Now, they haven't, so we do have to keep that in mind. But if you get to a Game 7 in this series, or you have an opportunity to close this team out in Game 6, you absolutely have to own that big moment. And last game, Game 2, Austin Matthews owned that moment, and it was the reason why the Leafs were able to win.
So looking down on the ice, a lot of the Leafs are starting to leave from their warm-up. Most of the Bruins are still out there. We'll come back and update everything for you. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, Kelly. I love your Kelly Clarkson Connection channel.
All right. Thank you so much for listening.
The mix is eclectic.
I love music, and I just want to celebrate all of it with you.
It's my favorite now.
Is it worth it? Let me work it.
It is perfect.
This is my heartbeat. The Kelly Clarkson Connection. action, y'all.
I freaking love your channel.
Oh my God.
Channel 12 and on the Sirius XM app.
The playoffs are here.
Centering pass, score! Oh, what a sparkling save. And now McDavid has it again at center ice. Left circle shot. Score!
16 teams made the cut.
And only one can bring home the prize.
Misfits to champions. The Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Don't miss a moment. Sirius XM 91.
And the Sirius XM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Montreal's Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations, Jeff Gordon. Do you have some priorities here heading into the offseason?
We're going to definitely let it blossom, but, we're looking for maybe ways to move it along, too. We have a lot of assets. We're looking for those opportunities to maybe use some of those assets to set us up at a higher level going forward.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving, scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Harry Kane finishes off the game.
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
Leafs game night live from Scotiabank Arena. Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado with you. So let's do some math here. 2 games gone in Boston. Series tied at 1. If it goes 7, 5 games left, 3 on home ice. So the Leafs have home ice advantage if it goes the distance. First game on home ice in this series for the Leafs, obviously. Keith, on what he expects from the crowd and his team at Scotiabank Arena.
Well, the atmosphere, I know it's going to be great. Like I talked about, be loud. I think people, are excited for this time of year, of course, and will welcome us home. In terms of the matchup stuff, I think, see what the lineup looks like for us here tonight. But you look how it went on the road. I think the way the forward matchups went, we were pretty good with that. Pretty good with the way they worked out. I think both teams are sort of top 6, bottom 6. And you have to be smart about how you manage that, and get outside of that. Obviously they really focused on Austin and his line with how they utilized their defense, and we'll be able to maybe manage that a little bit better, at home here now and make it a little more difficult for them. At the same time, that line's been doing really well, and, we got to manage the matchups accordingly, so we're not, chasing one to get something favorable over here and expose ourselves on the other side of it, especially, maybe we've been playing without different people.
Sheldon, you've given up 3 power play goals against in the first 2 games. And if my math is correct, I think it's 5 different forwards and 5 different defensemen who have been on the ice for the penalty kills. When the players are changing that much, does that tell you that the structure needs work, or that circumstance just happened?
Well, I'd say there's some circumstance inside of that. I think part of it, the different players and such on the ice. If you look at it, we've been in game 2, we got scored on pretty quickly early on in the kill. So that's when you're early in the kill, you're going to have certain players on the ice. And then If you look at game one, the first power play goal that they'd scored happened just about halfway through, or just past halfway, over a minute into into the penalty kill. So then you're going to get different people on at that point. And the third one, I think, happened with under 20 seconds left. So we got different people are going to have to be on the ice at different times there. So that's just part of your regular rotations. In terms of the goals themselves, they're different reasons. And then a lot of it just speaks to us, like we've been really all season, is sort of chasing that consistency and trusting it. And we got a huge kill with the game on the line the other night, which is hopefully a huge step for us in the series to just be confident and assertive. You look at, in the goal the other night, we do a really good job of getting ourselves through pressure, get a puck back, and then we have some miscommunication, don't get the clear, and then it ends up in our net. Just little things like that, that we've got to clean up, because we've shown down the stretch here of the regular season and the other night with the game on the line that when we're assertive and we're confident, we go out there, we can do the job. So we got to get to that.
Meanwhile, back at Scotiabank Arena, the building is now starting its energy build. Players have left the ice. Austin Matthews got a nice round of applause as he was the last leaf-off, as he always is. And so, Frankie, see home ice, the debut on home ice for the Leafs coming off that inspirational game 2. Should be electric in here.
I kind of like the Leafs starting on the road this year. I think you go on the road, it's a little bit of a business-like mentality. You come home, you get a split, and it just leads to the crowd being that much more into it. But it feels like you've eased your way into the series now, and there's not all this expectation right from the beginning to have, your home crowd pleased and into the game. It's like that's already been done, and it's going to be organic. And with the way the game went last game, the crowd is going to be really appreciative for the effort that they put forward, the fact that they came home with the split, the fact that Samsonov bounced back, the fact that Austin Matthews had a big performance. Like, there's a lot of momentum. And you say sometimes in a series, like, momentum doesn't carry from game to game, but I don't know, there's just something about tonight where you feel like there's a lot of good juju in the building for the Leafs.
Yeah, and I guess, a remarkable turnaround in game 2 for the Leafs, still wanting to clean up some penalties though, right?
That's going to be a big key for them. Their penalty kill is not good enough that they can start taking stick penalties, undisciplined penalties, cross checks after the whistle, anything that is not a hockey play that is going to negate an imminent scoring chance is not necessary for the Leafs to do. They cannot get into that game with Brad Marchand. If you're going to slash him after the whistle, he's made a career out of baiting people into those types of incidents and getting the upper hand. You're not going to win that battle. And even if you do slash him, so what? You think Brad Marchand is not going to play next game because he took a little whack to the back of the knee? Of course not. It's not worth it. You want to play hard. You want to play physical. You want to send a message. Sure, you have a pack mentality in all those scrums. Everyone's in there. Everyone's throwing punches, but you do it together. You don't have that single isolated incident that it's easy for the referees to kind of spot and give you a penalty for. So that's something the Leafs will really have to focus on tonight, because like I said, the penalty kill hasn't been good enough, and chances are at this point it's not going to miraculously turn around. That's the penalty kill that they are going to live and die with, and that is the reality of where the Leafs are at.
Well, I would look at it this way. For 2 games, the Leafs did a lot of extracurriculars, and that's fine. The message was sent. You have to keep on sending the same message.
For sure you do. Like you heard Brad Marchand talk about it yesterday before the Bruins traveled, that the Leafs are playing for keeps. He said they're playing more physical than they ever have. They're playing legitimate playoff hockey. And he said it's a little different playing this team than it has been in years past. A lot of that has to do with the way the blue line's been constructed. It has to do with Bertuzzi being on the team, with Domi being on the team, and the general mindset of this team. And you think about the progression of this season, where there's a game in Boston, and of course it's fitting that it's against the Bruins, where Marchand takes Liljegren down, and so much is made of the lack of response. Ryan Reeves is on the ice, Bertuzzi is laughing by the bench, Marchand's going by the bench, no one does anything, and it felt like from that moment on, this group felt like they really had to overcompensate as far as how they react to those kinds of situations. And sometimes they do cross the line, but I think that's quite the compliment from a guy like Brad Marchand. And who knows if that's a little bit of gamesmanship or not. It probably is. But the fact remains, they are playing for keeps. They are playing more physical. There is a little more snarl to this team, and that cannot be a bad thing, because it's different than what the Leafs have thrown at the Boston Bruins in years past.
Well, look, after game 1, we were talking about Matthews, Domi, and Bertuzzi, wondering if it would be intact for game 2. it was very effective, and that's no longer an issue.
Let me just get something on that last point. It's a good thing that they're playing hard. It's also a good thing that they don't have a prominent centerman getting suspended, because they played hard and physical in the past, but someone kept getting suspended, and that wasn't a good thing either. About the line that you just talked about, that is not an issue. And I think, there was always going to be that conversation. Anytime the offense goes dry with this team, how long do you wait to put Matthews and Marner back together? And as long as the first line is playing well and giving you what they gave you in Game 2, you don't feel like you have to go back to it. And Sheldon Keefe has actually been, I'll use this term for you, he's been micro-dosing it throughout the game. Like, he sees an opportunity where there's an icing, he'll sprinkle Mitch Marner onto a line with Matthews and Bertuzzi or Matthews and Domi. He did it a handful of times, and I like that approach. It's not something at this point you have to make a permanent thing, but you can throw it in every once in a while when you see fit, and I like that as well because it gives Marner that little bit of a boost playing with Matthews. But let's call a spade, Jimmy. Marner needs to drive his line with John Tavares at 5-on-5. You want to talk about ways this team can improve? That is a massive one. That line was not nearly as good at 5-on-5 as it is supposed to be throughout the first 2 games, and a little bit of a saving grace for that is John Tavares scores a big power play goal in Game 2, so he does something that he does well. But at 5-on-5, especially on home ice now, where you can dictate a little more of the matchups, I expect that line to have a big impact in this game in a positive way.
Okay, so, Coach Keefe, we all heard the clip talking about the defensive responsibility of the Tavares line because of the road game and the line matchup. Now that he's got home ice, that probably won't be the case, will it?
Well, you know what? Like, you can talk about the defensive responsibility, and that's great. But good lines are expected to be diligent defensively, to eat matchups, and also give you something offensively. They're a third and fourth line, they can give you one or the other, basically. But those kinds of lines, players that make that kind of money, they have to give you both. So tonight there should be a little more space, a little more of a favorable matchup for those guys to have their way offensively. But Mitch Marner needs to drive it. Like, he has to be willing to get to the middle of the ice. He has to play that fearless kind of game that when he plays separates him from a lot of the best players in the NHL, one of the best right wingers year after year after year. And when he doesn't play that way, it's so noticeable. And we have seen it too many times in the past. Come playoff time, he has to find a way to channel that fearlessness and engage himself, get to the inside of the ice, be willing to take a hit to make a play, be willing to go into the corner first to get a puck and dig it out. Like, all those kinds of things are what makes Mitch Marner. But when he doesn't do that, it's very noticeable, and his game is not the same, and his team doesn't have the same kind of benefit as when he does do that.
Okay, that's the top 6. The bottom 6, I thought, played really well.
I think the fourth line has been fantastic. Outside of that pinch in Game 1 where Ryan Reeves doubles up on his coverage with Joel Edmondson, the fourth line has been great. And you know how much Sheldon Keefe likes putting that fourth line on the ice in certain situations. If it's after a power play, if it's after a penalty kill, seemingly the fourth line is going on the ice all the time. If it's after a goal against, there's the fourth line again. And the fact that Sheldon Keefe is actually getting shifts won by that fourth line, it validates that line of thinking. It validates putting them back on the ice time and time again. And instead of that line spending time in their own zone, which is where they have had their struggles this season, they are playing in the offensive zone. And you know what happens then? Now you're taking a piece of McAvoy. Now you're taking a piece of Lindholm. And there's going to be a couple changes on the back end for the Boston Bruins tonight. Like, Mason Lohrei comes in.
Right.
Grzelcyk is out. Andrew Peeke is out. He got hurt. Parker Wotherspoon is in. So the physical toll, is already starting to take its place on the Boston Bruins blue line, Jimmy.
Yeah, JVR is back in the lineup, too.
JVR is back in the lineup, so a little bit of a different look for the Boston Bruins tonight, and Patrick Maroon stays in the lineup. One of the things that's really strange about the Bruins is their power play units are these 2 even spread out units where they haven't really loaded things up. And I wonder tonight if Jim Montgomery decides to load up one unit, because they had a power play with about 4 minutes left in the last game, and they had Shattenkirk, Maroon on a power play with David Pastrnak. And I'm thinking, why do you not have your best 5 players on the ice in this situation? So we'll see if the Bruins make any kinds of adjustments going into Game 3, because you have to. Like, if you're not making adjustments, chances are you're falling behind in a series.
They have actually adjusted the top 3 lines. There's a different configuration there. So DeBrusk, Zaka, and Pasternak in the first line. Coyle centering Geekie and Marchand the second line. Frederick centering Heinen and JVR in the third line. So a lot of different looks.
A lot of different looks, and Morgan Geekie was playing down the middle, so now he's going to be playing wing. And Charlie Coyle was the matchup going up against Austin Matthews. We'll see how much Jim Montgomery can get that matchup tonight without the last change.
Take a look around the building, Frankie. It's quiet now, but it's about to erupt. We're actually showing on the scoreboard what's going on at Maple Leaf Square, which is another story.
Well, the tone has been set by Winnipeg and Vancouver. Let's see what the fans in Toronto have to offer tonight.
We'll set up the opening face-off for you next. This is Leafs Game Night live from Scotiabank Arena on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Sewer backed up? In some cases, natural gas lines may cross through sewer or septic pipes. These are called crossbores. Left undisturbed, crossbores are harmless. But if you or your plumber accidentally hit a natural gas line while clearing a sewer blockage, it can lead to the release of natural gas and cause an explosion or fire. Before you clear it, contact Ontario One Call at 1-800-400-2255 to get a free sewer inspection. For more essential tips, visit enbridgegas.com/safety.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I just helped Tom with a business loan. He needed to soup up his mechanic shop. Not to brag, but I once modified a car to match my ultra speed. It went so fast, it broke the speed of sound. At least no one was inside. I hope no one was inside. I guess I'll just stick to approving business loans.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Jim, we can expect more thunderstorms as the evening approaches, and then overnight... Oh, hold on. Yeah, can I get 2 number 6s with a side of curly fries? Hold the onions, please. Yeah.
Harold, are you in the drive-thru right now?
Jim, no one listens to this. Oh, thank you. Yeah, great.
Weather reports don't matter when you drive a Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and book a test drive during the all-weather drive event.
For 35 years, Kids Help Phone has provided free confidential support to millions of young people across Canada. On Sunday, May 5th, we invite you to raise funds for youth mental health by taking part in BMO Walk So Kids Can Talk. This is your chance to help every young person in Canada feel out loud. Register, fundraise, donate, or walk. Join the movement at walksokidscantalk.ca.
And the voice of Toronto sports.
Well, where does this go? The Leafs and Bruins tied a 1 game apiece. The Leafs responding nicely in game 2. And, of course, Austin Matthews with the game-winning goal to make a statement. So, back to the original question. Where does this go? Do the Leafs build on a game 2 and feed an excited home crowd, or do the Bruins answer back? Well, let's find out. Molson Canadian Leafs hockey starts now.
It's time for Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
They certainly do. Welcome to Molson Canadian Leafs hockey live from Scotiabank Arena. Game 3, Leafs against the Boston Bruins. Opening round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado reporting. Joe Bowen and Jimmy Rouse standing by. The starting lineup is brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian Ultra, Export, or Excel, there's a Molson with your name on it. And everything for the Leafs is status quo. Matthews between Domi and Bertuzzi. Tavares between Marner and Nyes. Holmberg between Robertson and Yarncroke. Camp centering Reeves and Dewar. The blue line pairings remain the same. Riley, Labushkin, Benoit McCabe, Edmondson, Liljegren, and Sammy starts in goal. Frankie C., what do you make of all that?
Well, a couple lineup changes for the Boston Bruins, Jimmy, as Jacob Lauko comes out of the lineup, and it's James Van Riemsdyk, the former Leaf, playing on the third line for Boston. A couple changes on the back end as Matt Grzelcyk is not playing tonight. Mason Lohrei comes in. Parker Witherspoon comes in. Andrew Peeke is hurt. So plenty of changes for the Bruins. Morgan Geekie now playing second line right wing. Trent Frederick taking his spot as the third line centerman. None of that is going to matter though, Jimmy. You know why? Because the Toronto Maple Leafs best players have to be their best players. And we had the Austin Matthews moment. The Austin Matthews big performance in game 2. And tonight it has to be Mitch Marner. He needs to drive his line at 5-on-5 with John Tavares and Matthew Nyes. And guess what? If he does that, No one is talking about his performance in Game 2 or Game 1. We'll be talking about how Mitch Marner drove the bus in Game 3, and if Mitch Marner gets the most or the better of David Pastrnak, there's a very good chance the Leafs win this game. I like the fact that the Leafs blue line is staying intact. They've been mean, they've been physical, they've been in the face of the Bruins all series long. They do have to play a little more discipline. I thought Joel Edmondson was outstanding in Game 2. Simon Benoit has done a great job when asked upon to play against David Pastrnak in those hard minutes. And how about the bounce-back performance by Ilya Samsonov in Game 2? He was competitive in the net, and that's what really separated him from Game 2 to Game 1. He's back on home ice. The crowd will be chanting Sammy all night long as he brings that same kind of energy, because you know, Jimmy, the fans are bringing that energy here in Toronto.
Yes, they are, Guy. They are. I can feel it right up in this booth. And so suddenly, as the Nylander playing story just fades right out because he's not playing.
Nylander took the morning skate. He stayed on the ice a little bit extra. You and I were down here this morning. We watched him. We didn't know if he was going to play, and sure enough, he's not playing tonight. But guess what? The Leafs have beat the Bruins without Nylander, and it also provides a little more of an opportunity for someone like Nick Robertson to stay in the lineup, to maybe score a goal, grab a big one, and that'll be so important. If you can grab a little bit of depth scoring in this game, let the big boys do their thing, and hopefully you find a way to beat the Boston Bruins on home ice and take Game 3.
So let's go to the other side of the ice. I mean, the Bruins have done changes to each one of the top 3 lines. What do you think they're looking for there?
They're looking for a little more balance here as far as the road and trying to win matchups. They know they're not going to get last change, and they want to feel like they can throw any of those top 3 lines over the boards and not lose a matchup. And, you take a look at the first line tonight. It's going to be Zacha, Pastrnak, and DeBrusk. Jake DeBrusk has been a little bit of a Leaf killer, and now you put him with David Pastrnak, who seemingly has had his way with the Leafs all season long in the regular season. He hasn't been able to fight it in the playoffs, and now you wonder, Jimmy, who gets the upper hand? Is it the Marner game or is it the Pastrnak game? Because too many times against the Bruins, it's been the Pastrnak game, and tonight it needs to be the Marner game and the Matthews game.
All right, let's just listen to this. That means the Leafs are on the ice. For those of you scoring at home. I wanted to ask one more question. We can squeeze it in. Is Charlie McAvoy exploitable, and can the Leafs do that?
Charlie McAvoy is one of the 8 to 10 best defensemen in the NHL. One of the 8 to 10 best defensemen in the world. Austin Matthews is one of the best players in the world. Mitch Marner is one of the best right wingers in the world. Like, we are talking about elite versus elite. Toronto has elite weapons up front, and of course, any defenseman, when put under that much pressure, when playing against that much skill, night after night after night, and McAvoy is on the ice a lot, of course you can find ways to exploit him, but it's not going to be easy.
Okay, just enough time to, I guess, ask you, what do you think happens in the first 10 minutes of this game? Because that might be the scene setter.
There's a good feeling in the building tonight. I know you and I talked about it, where you almost feel like the momentum doesn't carry over from game to game, but it's a good opportunity for the Leafs. Getting the split on the road, you come back. It felt business-like in Boston. Now the crowd is behind you, and you don't feel like you have the pressure to get off to a great start on home ice. Your fans, they're behind you tonight, and you feel like you did a good job on the road, and now you come home and try and get the job done.
And everybody's got their rally towel, and they're waving them now as the starting lineup is being introduced. We'll step out and defer to Joe Bowen and Jimmy Ralph. The opening face-off is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Hockey. It's NFL Draft Week, and Sports Grid Radio is the only channel talking about the impact every pick has on the sportsbooks. How many trades and how many players drafted at each position.
I don't think they're going to get to 10 when it comes to offensive linemen taken in the first round.
We'll track all the picks as they come off the board and update the live impact on Super Bowl odds and team win totals for the upcoming season.
8 is a good season. They're more in the neighborhood of 5 or 6.
Follow the NFL Draft starting tomorrow at 8 in the East on Sports Grid Radio, channel 159 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The playoffs are here.
Centering pass, score! Oh, what a sparkling save. And now McDavid has it again at center right. Left circle shot. Score!
16 teams made the cut.
And only one can bring home the prize.
Misfits to champions. The Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
Don't miss a moment. SiriusXM 91.
And the SiriusXM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team, don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Montreal's Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations, Jeff Gordon. Do you have some priorities here heading into the offseason?
We're going to definitely let it blossom, but, we're looking for maybe ways to move it along, too. We have a lot of assets. We're looking for those opportunities to maybe use some of those assets to set us up at a higher level going forward.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee. Because the real truth is this, they got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The doors on the regular season are shut. It's time for the playoffs to begin.
15 to go. Center pass advantage. Sagan, Duchesne, score! Game over!
The Stanley Cup playoffs. Every team, every game. Follow the action on the air.
At Sirius XM NHL on X.
Don't miss a moment.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91.
And the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
On TSN 1050.
Game 3 of the best of 7 with the Boston Bruins and the Leafs. With the Boston Bruins and the Leafs tied at a game apiece after the Maple Leafs 3-2 victory over the lineup. No changes for the Toronto Maple Leafs. William Nylander still not able to go here tonight in Game 3. The Leafs to the right with goaltender Ilya Samsonov and Jeremy Swayman to the left. We're ready to go. The face-off at center and the puck is dropped. And we are underway and glad you're along with us. Lahari into the lineup for the Bruins. It rolls it down into the Leafs zone. McCabe taken up against the end boards, comes out of the scrum with it, played it up on the wing for Marner, but it was in behind him, and then a long shot went off the glove of goaltender Samsonov. It comes in front of the net, and it's chipped to the line. Here's Marner getting it freed up and getting it out at center ice. The Leafs have to guard against being too active here, with the crowd certainly getting in behind them as a breakup of a play at the Leaf blue line is cleared into the crowd by Benoit. And there will be a penalty here to the Maple Leafs to start the game.
That's the other side of keeping in control, is Simon Benoit has absolutely no pressure on him. When he's got the puck top of the left wing circle in the Leaf zone, takes it back and just airmails it over top of the glass, and you say stay out of the box. Well, 40 seconds in, the Leafs are killing a penalty.
Face off in the Toronto zone to the left of Samsonov. Coyle leans in against Camp, and Coyle wins the draw. Back to the blue line, McAvoy with a shot. Oh, and that deflected just wide of the Leaf goal. It goes back along the boards on the far side. Chasing after it, it comes to McAvoy. Deflected into the zone, and the Leafs had to make a save there. The puck comes back along the boards and on the near side. DeBrusque Works back to the blue line, into the slot with a shot. Samsonov down. And he has swallowed that up to hold for a face-off in the Toronto zone. The Bruins' power play has been the reason this series is split. 4 of 8 on the power play, including 3 goals in the first game, or 2 goals in the first game, another here, so they're 3 of 8. Draw scrummed, it played back to the point. Kept in there by McAvoy, around the boards to the far side for Geekie. Geekie gets it back along the wall. Coyle is able to free it up. The Leafs are able to intercept. Now try to play it around to the near wing, but it's going to be trapped by Marchand. Stolen by Toronto and shot down the ice. Joel Edmondson doing the job. McAvoy back in his own zone with 1:09. Gets to the red line. Drops the puck back. Brought on through center ice for Pavel Zacha in on the left wing. Chipped into the corner by James Van Riemsdyk, who's into the lineup for his first game. A wraparound attempt comes in front, and it's shot over top of the Leaf goal on the rebound. Back to the point, trapped there by Shattenkirk. Shattenkirk gets it returned. Quickly to the far side. Played back again to Shattenkirk, and a shot in traffic was deflected wide of the net by Van Riemsdyk. It comes in front of the goal. Puck goes around back of the net. Rattled around the wall by Morgan Riley. And out and down the ice it goes.
Boston already 5 shots on goal in the first 2:10.
27 seconds left to go in the power play. To the blue line, broken up at the Toronto line. Here's Nyes, bringing it in on the left wing side. Nyes with a shot, and it ramps off the stick of Shattenkirk and up into the screen with 17 seconds left to go in the power play.
Well, in the early going, now they've taken a shot away from the Bruins, but the early going, Joe, you like that Ilya Samsonov is looking through screens to pick up point shots. And James Van Riemsdyk in the second part of his power play right in front of him.
Well, he's made a career of being there, hasn't he? Face off in the Boston zone.
Silky hands in close to the top of the crease. 17 seconds left for the Leafs to get out of the first shorthanded situation of the night.
I think when he was here in Toronto, the only one I saw better was Dave Andrechuk. Draw one by Boston. They'll work it back to their own goal. And now start out with 10 seconds left in the power play. Up on the right side for Pasternak. Pasternak, a pass through the goal crease, deflects to the left wing side. Lindholm carries in with a shot on the side. Backhanded to the line, and it's out. Benoit out of the penalty box as the Bruins send it back into the Toronto end, and Morgan Riley goes around back of the goal. And the crowd getting it revved up now that they have killed off the first penalty. Played down to the Boston blue line. Off a stick it goes now to Liljegren. He one-handed it out over the line but didn't make a pass. Bruins get it back into the Toronto end. Liljegren ties up his man. Gets support there from Matthews, and the puck comes free. And now it is Bertuzzi finding Domi in on the right side. Tried to step around the defense, but John Beecher was there to take it away from him. No score first period, and we're glad you're along with us from Scotiabank Arena. Around the boards, it'll come to the near side. Chipped out over the line by the Leafs and brought on now by David Camp. Camp in with a shot, and Swayman makes an easy save of a shot, and now some pushing in front of the goal has got everybody ramped up. But a face-off coming in the Boston zone is Maroon. What a Maroon. It's in there with Reeves.
The best pusher on each team.
The best pusher, exactly. There you go.
David Camp decides he's going to test Jeremy Swayman finally with wrist shot from the high slot that Swayman was able to handle easily.
Bruins will make a change and the Leafs will counter. Right now they've got the fourth line out there, but Reeves is heading to the bench with Camp. And Robertson will come on with Yarncrook and Pontus Holmberg. The draw to the left in the Boston zone, and the Bruin waved out. And it'll take Heinen in for the faceoff. Draw scrummed, and the Leafs control it. Into the slot, a pass on the left wing side. Edmondson a shot, and that takes down one of the Bruins. who is writhing around in pain on the ice. And I think that is Witherspoon, who's just been brought into the game. And he may be taken out of the game. He's in a lot of discomfort.
Edmondson picked the puck up above the left wing circle, then pushed it in and wound up and hammered it.
And this caught Witherspoon somewhere. He's up on his skates now and limping towards the Boston bench.
It's one of those where he turns his leg. Yeah, and I think he got it outside the left knee.
Well, he's skating around a little bit on the way to the bench. And he'll take a seat as the faceoff comes in the circle to the right of Jeremy Swayman, who is a 1.01 goals against average and a .972 save percentage after his victory in Game 1. Holmberg will take the draw, and the Bruins control it. Cleared off the glass to center. Edmondson sent it back in, cleared high, knocked down by Edmondson. He's able to chip it back to the Bruins zone. The Bruins are going to shoot it right back out at center. And now Edmondson stands up his man as the puck comes in over the line for Van Riemsdyk. Tries to drive the net one-handed and through the goal crease. Chipped up on the boards, and now the Leafs break with Yarncrook. Yarncrook in on the right wing. Long shot, off a leg wide. Yarncrook playing it back to the net. Holmberg plays it on the bank, back to the blue line, and it goes to Riley. D to the right wing side. Penalty coming here to Boston. Chipped in front of the net and a shot, and Swayman stopped that. And here's the call.
It's going to be a cross check. And 4:21 into the period after the Leafs have already killed one. They're going to go to the power play. And Mason Warre is the Boston defender. So you've got two new players on the blue line for the Bruins. One's been hurt, one's going on.
Power play brought to you by Subaru. Embrace spring weather with the Subaru All-Weather Drive event. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today.
We've set a huge power play goal in Game 2 off the stick of John Tavares.
Draw to the right. Tavares, Marner, Bertuzzi, Matthews, Riley. The draw won cleanly by the Leafs. Marner works into the middle of the ice. Drops it back now for Morgan Riley. A pass in! And Bertuzzi deflected it just wide. It comes in front of the net. Down low and a shot. Another shot off the side of the goal. Riley's able to keep it in. Riley sends it in front of the net for Tavares. It rolled in on goal, and Swayman had to make a good save. Leafs are buzzing. It's back to the blue line to Marner. His shot is deflected. Riley with a shot. That deflects it up into the screen, and the Leafs were all over the Bruins here.
Fortunately, could not take advantage of the broken stick. I'm not so sure that, Joe, it wasn't a drop stick and they were able to get it back. Everybody seems to have a twig.
I think you're right.
But a couple of great opportunities and scrambles in front of Jeremy Swayman.
Draw to the right of Swayman again. Tavares leaning in and wins it cleanly. To the right wing side, a drive that was blocked off Matthews. And the Bruins are going to punch it out at center ice and get it into neutral ice. But now the Leafs counter right back. Matthews in on the line. Into the left wing side for Tavares. Tavares circles the goal to Bertuzzi. Back for Matthews, back of the goal. In goes Tavares after the loose puck. The puck comes out in front of the net and is pushed up on the wing. And Bertuzzi's got to get on his horse. A lead pass, a breakaway chance, and a shot. Pad save made by Samsonov. Holy mackerel, what a great play that was. Now the Leafs trying to counter, but don't get it ahead. Sammy! 50 seconds left in the power play. Off the boards, deflected out at center. Chipped ahead and knocked into the zone, but the Bruins are going to get to it first, and Lindholm will send it out and down the ice. Samsonov outweights the forechecker. And out come the Leafs now with the second unit for Domi. Domi to center. Domi on the left wing for Nyes. Nyes dropping it back for McCabe. McCabe works into the corner. Round the boards, it'll go to Liljegren at the far point. Back to the near side for McCabe. Pass into the slot area, didn't connect. Domi in the far corner. Domi coming out of the corner, passing it in front of the net, didn't get it to McCabe. It'll go back to Domi in the corner again. Domi coming out with a pass in front of the net. Yarncrook is stopped by Swayman. Both goaltenders have been called on to make brilliant saves. And it is still scoreless as the penalty expires. Shot in by McCabe. Around on the far side. Camp couldn't get there in time, and Pasternak gets it out at center ice. Geekie in on the left wing with a shot that is off his stick and ramping up into the screen and going out of play.
Oh, the chance Yarncroc had, Joe, seemed to double clutch it, didn't he? Didn't get the one-timer away, but that was well after, really, as Samsonov bailed out the number one unit with a shorthanded breakaway save.
On Pavel Zacha, you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The artists the rest of the world will be talking about in months are on SiriusXM's Next Wave concert series. Now, hear exclusive performances from the top rising stars in rock, R&B, hip-hop, and more. Tap into Who's Next, the Next Wave Concert Series Volume 7. Now in the all-new SiriusXM app. Just search Next Wave.
The playoffs are here.
Baby! Centering pass, score! Oh, what a sparkling save. And now McDavid has it again at center ice. Left circle shot. Score!
16 teams made the cut.
And only one can bring home the prize.
Misfits to champions. The Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Don't miss a moment. Sirius XM 91.
And the Sirius XM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC. Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most. The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory. Jude Bellingham's driving scores! And one performance can turn a star into an immortal. Harry Kane finishes off the game. It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
You want it.
No score, first period. 13-19 to play. Game 3 with the series tied at a game apiece.
Even though they weren't successful, that might have been the most impressive Leaf power play we saw, and yet they give up the shorthanded break. And that is, as much as you love Tyler Bertuzzi and the hustle coming back, that's where it hurts a bit, is that lack of speed. If the puck is turned over and off.
Face up in the Toronto zone. Scrum grabbed off by Marner, and Marner starts out with it to center. He's going to chip it into the right wing corner, and Nyes goes in with a glance over his shoulder to see where the traffic is. Now Tavares helps out, sends it back along the boards. Nyes is in there along with Tavares trying to dig it free. Nyes couldn't get it free. Now it comes around to the left wing side. Edmondson is going to pinch. He gets it into Nyes, who centers, and it was a blind pass, and it was picked off there by Boston. Pasternak launching it high into the right wing corner. That alley-oop pass wasn't nearly as good as Domi's in game 2. Puck in along the end boards. Dugout, played to the line but not out. Down the boards comes McAvoy. McAvoy got around one. McAvoy a wraparound attempt, comes in front of the net, a shot. Edmondson saves a goal. Edmondson went down on all fours and blocked that with his chest as Samsonov hadn't gotten back from the wraparound attempt.
But Charlie McAvoy, all kinds of time and space down the right wing side around the net.
Lead pass for Matthews, this time from Domi on his skates. Maybe he should have alley-ooped that. Now a good hit on the far side by Matthews. And the crowd into this. In on the right side, now come the Bruins with a shot. Big save made there by Samsonov. Near boards now for Benoit. Benoit to center. Benoit to the line, just flips it into the left wing corner. Bertuzzi's been on for a long shift as the puck comes up on the right wing side, and Geekie will play it down into the Toronto end, but it's a wide pass that turns into an icing that'll come all the way back into Boston territory. 11:44 to go in a scoreless first.
I know so much has been written and talked about this, but this is where the Leafs have finally got to make home ice advantage come through. Go to the playoffs last year. Only one win at home ice in the two series against Tampa and the Florida Panthers. In fact, this group has a horrid record here at Scotiabank Arena in the postseason, and that has got to change if this is going to be the start of something special, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Riley banking it ahead. Yarncrook couldn't get it in deep. Riley chipping it back, and the puck stolen now by Robertson. Robertson will shoot it in, and the Leafs have to tag up as it's cleared into the corner. Boston with time and space to get it out. Tying up his man there was Lyubushkin. The Bruins will get it up on the wing, and Boquist sends it into the Toronto zone. Cleared into the corner to Riley. Riley to Robertson. Robertson off the boards for Riley. Riley just let it slide out at center, and McAvoy will regroup it for Boston as Van Riemsdyk sends it back into the Leaf zone before changing. Now Riley starting out of his own zone. Pass up on the wing and trying to get it ahead. Lyubushkin was tripped. There's going to be a penalty. The Bruins are going to the box. The Leafs will go to their second power play opportunity, and it's brought to you by Subaru. Embrace spring weather with the Subaru all-weather drive event. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today.
There's going to be Pavel Zacha going to the box, and that was just enough to get his blade of the stick on the toe of the skate of Lyubushkin. Zacha actually dropped his stick, I think trying to maybe avoid getting the penalty, but the smoking gun, as it were laying right in front of the officials, so the Leafs get their second power play of the night.
9:08. The Leafs have not scored the opening goal in this series.
Actually, it's gone further than that. 6 games against Boston this year. They've not scored the opening goal.
There you go with some negative comments.
So you're saying...
No, I'm saying it's going to end. Yeah.
No, but you were saying they haven't scored the first goal in this series.
Yes.
And now it's a positive comment.
Oh, it is?
Well, I'm just trying to follow along the rules.
Try to help out. Here are the Leafs coming out of their own end. Marner hits the blue line, stops up, got it into the corner for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi taken to the boards, the puck squirts free to Tavares. Tavares back of the net, tried to center, but it was picked off and now shot out and down the ice by Boston. Samsonov had ideas of maybe a quick up, but leaves it for Morgan Riley. Minute 19 in the power play. Tried to play it ahead for Marner, but it deflected off his stick and it's cleared to the line, but the Leafs are going to keep it in, but then a pass by Bertuzzi struck Marner on the skate and ended up going all the way down into the Leaf end. Matthews back in his own zone, drops off for Mitch Marner. Marner curls to the right wing side, left wing feed for Matthews, drop pass for Tavares into the corner for Matthews, tried to center. Tavares banking it back to the blue line. Riley to the right wing side for Liljegren. Liljegren down into the corner, swung it around the boards. It'll find Marner on the near half wall. Marner into the slot for Riley, a shot. That was blocked. Marner gets it again. Marner on the near half boards again. Looking for Matthews. Back to the point. It goes to Riley. Riley's shot. That was deflected wide. Liljegren down low. Matthews couldn't get it. Now he does. Gets it to the side of the goal. And Swayman has got his glove down there to stop it and hold on.
As impressive as the first power play was, it so often happens you don't get one the second time out. The chances aren't quite there. Maybe the best opportunity was Morgan Riley from the left point. The puck seemed to disappear for a while before it ended up dropping in the circle to the right of Swayman. So the second unit will come out to finish this up. 22 seconds left in the penalty to Pavel Zacha.
Parker Witherspoon was on defending during that penalty, so the shot that he blocked, apparently he's been able to walk it off. Draw to the left in the Boston zone. Domi going to be waved out. And so it will be Yarncrook who will take the face-off. And he wins it cleanly. Back to the point to Liljegren. Near side for McCabe. Shot blocked to the right wing side. Domi centering in front. The Yarncrook had a shot but had it blocked and now is able to knock it into the near boards. Nyes won't get there and it'll be shot down the ice by Boston, who are going to go 2 for 2 in the penalty kill here in Game 3. Left wing feed, and Nyes gets it to the center ice red line with a long shoot in. Domi waiting patiently for it, knocks it back to the net. Yarncrook in against the boards, couldn't dig it free. Now he does for Nyes. Yarncrook after it again, taken off the puck by Trent Frederick, and the Bruins will get it out at center, only to have it intercepted by the Leafs, and Labushkin shoots it right back in again. Shots are 9-4 favoring Boston, but there is no score in the game. Bruins getting it out with Shattenkirk getting it up on the wing. Left wing side and set in over the line. Boquist got it into the corner. Now he's taken off the puck, and Reeves quickly gets it ahead on the left wing. And it is cleared in by Dewar. There'll be no icing. The puck on the near side, and Reeves runs into his man. Grabbed off now by the Leafs, and David Camp with a backhand. Didn't get it through, and Reeves was on the doorstep and an offside at the blue line on a close play as Simon Benoit tried to keep it in.
I know people are going to react to the hit by Ryan Reeves in the corner. He makes a great 3-foot pass. The right wing boards in his own end to get the puck out, and the Leafs turned it back the other way.
7:55 to go in a scoreless first period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Hey, insiders! It's Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs here. And holy Mackinac, another great night here on TSI. First and foremost, Mike wanted me to thank you all for being here and helping create this amazing community that we have here at Toronto Sports Insider. Just by listening to this message, you are a part of something very, very special. Mike has asked me to help in his goal of making a difference to Sick Kids Hospital with this great group of Toronto sports fans. Now, Sick Kids Hospital is very near and dear to my heart. My son Sean was diagnosed with leukemia when he was just a year old, and he's 30-some-odd years of age now and a big strapping lad because of their magic that they work at Sick Kids. Toronto Sports Insider is donating 100% of the channel's revenue through the Leafs 2024 Stanley Cup Playoffs run. What an amazing start you have had in Game 1. Over $150 in Super Chat donations. 4 new in 1,000 views. Now's the time for this community of Leaf fans to make a real-world difference together throughout the rest of this playoff run. Now, the best way for us to increase the amount of the donation is to please share the link to Toronto Sports Insider right here on YouTube to bring more Leaf fans into this amazing community. Changing the world, one insider at a time. We'll see you in the chat. And holy Mackinac, go Leafs, go. Pass goes too far. Benoit chipping it. Got it ahead for Nyes. Got it across the line. But it's offside. And will be brought back out into the center ice area. And Nyes stepped right into Pasternak. Pretty good hit.
That was a rather emphatic offside signal, wasn't it?
It was.
From the linesman.
And they are Devin Berg and Ryan Daisy, Graham Skilleter and Francis Charon are the referees tonight. Pasternak dropping it back, brought on at center and in over the line. Laurie tried to get it in front of the net, but it's knocked away, and the Leafs get it to the line, but it's blocked. Long shot goes high to the near wall. Played off the boards and out. Off a stick? No, says the linesman. It was not. Icing will be called against Toronto with 7:23 to go in this period. Game 4, Saturday, 7 o'clock start here at Scotiabank Arena, and already Boston coach Jim Montgomery is bemoaning the fact they have to spend too much time in Toronto. It's a lovely city. What's he worried about?
Even if you're only here for a day,
yeah,
it'll take you 12 hours to get to the airport anyway.
That's right, yeah.
So enjoy it. Well, in theory, he's got a point where with the 2 days off in between games 3 and 4.
Draw to the left in the Toronto zone. Scrum by the Leafs, kicked back nicely by Tavares, taken back of the net for McCabe. He's chased hard but is able to spin away and find Benoit. Benoit's lead pass goes off Marner and down into the Boston zone. Marner into the forecheck, comes away with the loose puck. It comes to the side of the goal. Knocked back at the net by Swayman. And now the Bruins trying to play it up on the right wing side, and they do. And Geekie will get it to center and played in over the line by Charlie Coyle. Leafs take it away and send it around back of the net. Quickly played up on the wing, but cut off there by the Bruins coming off the bench. The Leafs are going to get it out at center, and Bertuzzi, using his size there, gets it to the line and then runs into Marchand and gives Marchand a little of the extra business on the boards, and that makes the crowd delighted. Rink-wide pass for Pasternak. Works back to the blue line, sent it into the corner, cut off there nicely by Matthews. Matthews took a pretty good slash from Pasternak, gives to Domi, closing, shot stopped by Swayman. The puck along the boards is going to be pushed out at center ice. Pasternak comes the other way, trying to get around his man Labushkin, but couldn't. And back there was he ties his man up. Pontus Holmberg trying to pin it to the wall, has drawn a crowd. 6 minutes to go in the period, and the puck comes free back of the Leaf net. Riley to Domi. He needs to get off. Domi to center and will do just that by flipping it in. Played around the boards, blocked by Pontus Holmberg. Puck in along the corner boards. Robertson hoping for a loose puck to develop, and does. Can't get it back to the blue line cleanly. Now he does. And now it's cleared back in by Benoit, but it was intercepted by Danton Heinen, and he brings it in over the line. Drop pass for DeBrusk. DeBrusk got it into the corner in the near side, but that was broken up. And now on the near boards, the Leafs have it pinned up on the wall, but it comes back to the point. Shattenkirk to his defense partner in a drive. Broken stick there by McCabe to block, and the Maple Leafs are going to break it out at center. Leafs have had a couple of big-time blocks in front of Ilya Samsonov, none bigger than Joel Edmondson literally selling out to block a shot with his chest. Puck in the Boston zone. Up on the right side, Shattenkirk. Got it to the red line, or did they? Linesman says they did because they've cleared it in and there's no icing. That was a close play. Liljegren and Edmondson banging in the corner. Reeves making sure no one creeps in from the blue line. The puck's still down there, but everybody is down low in the corner. We'll let you know when things develop. Right now, nothing. Still nothing. Puck finally comes free. Camp pushes it ahead. Ryan Reeves starts away at center. Reeves skating to the red line and chipping it in. He'll go into the forecheck. Nope, he's going to peel and come back to the bench. 4:17. A lot of that effort was in that corner, battling for that one puck. Shattenkirk sends it in over the line, and a delayed offside will stop play with 4:06 to go in the first period. Leafs nothing in the Bruins.
I don't think we've had a shot on goals for about 5 or 6 minutes. Max Domi, I don't know if they've credited the Leafs with one, but just 7-5 the shots favoring the Boston Bruins. They had 5 by the time their first power play of the night ended.
It is a 0-0 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The NFL Draft is on SiriusXM. Take your pick on how to listen with the SiriusXM app.
With the first pick,
NFL Radio brings you every selection and exclusive interviews.
22.
Hear insights from the experts that covered the players in college on SiriusXM College Sports Radio. Fantasy Sports Radio forecasts their fantasy football impact. And get instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio. The NFL Draft. Listen live, pause, and rewind. All on the SiriusXM app.
The playoffs are here.
Baby! Centering pass, score! Oh, what a sparkling save. And now McDavid has it again at center ice. Left circle shot. Score!
16 teams made the cut.
And only one can bring home the prize.
Misfits to champions. The Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Don't miss a moment. Sirius XM 91.
And the Sirius XM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC. Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most. The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory. Jude Bellingham's driving, scores! And one performance can turn a star into an immortal. Harry Kane finishes off the game. It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Face off at center ice, 4:06 to play in the first period. Shots are 7-5 in favor of the Boston Bruins. There is no score in the game. And Lyubushkin off a face-off win for Riley. Played ahead, chipped in over the line by Nyes. Down into the corner. Marner up against the boards. Nyes centers Tavares! Off a stick and just over the crossbar and up into the screen, and a scrum with Tavares and Pasternak.
Got two guys down in the corner there as well. I think Nyes is one, and maybe McAvoy.
McAvoy gets up. Yeah, you're right. It was Nyes.
And then Tavares and Pasternak come to their aid, and they get the gloves up in each other's faces.
Nyes having another word with McAvoy, but no penalties. So a face-off in the Boston zone to the right.
And you did mention the big shot block by Joel Edmondson. We also had the great breakaway save by Ilya Samsonov when the Leafs were on the power play. But Boston had 5 shots on goal 2.5 minutes into the period, and they're stuck at 7 right now.
Tavares with Marner and Robertson now for the Maple Leafs. And the draw won cleanly by Boston and played off a stick to center ice. Bruins, Geekie gets it in on the left wing. Coyle dropping it back, and a shot goes wide of the Leaf goal. Puck up on the right wing side. Trapped there and brought in by Brandon Carlo. Carlo had it taken away by Tavares. Back of the net for McCabe. McCabe looks up ice, just plays it ahead, and it is chipped in over the line then by Marner, who knocked down the linesman while doing it. Now Marchand in on the right side, plays it into the Toronto zone. Benoit reverses it for Robertson. Robertson cross ice for McCabe, and down the right wing side in the Leaf zone, a pass back for Robertson went off his stick. McCabe will try it again. McCabe banking it this time off the stick of Bertuzzi into Boston territory. Round back of the net. McAvoy got it up on the wing, but Matthews was able to knock it back momentarily. But McAvoy has brought it to center, but only to have it knocked away by the Leafs there. But Frederick gets it in over the line. Edmondson takes him to the boards. Puck comes free, and it is Domi trying to feather it ahead. He had Liljegren breaking, but it's knocked back into the Leaf end. Now Matthews just chops at it and gets it down in on goal. And again, Bertuzzi is a wraparound attempt and a save made by Swayman off the stick of Domi, who brought the puck out after a good hit by Bertuzzi.
Boy, if he
knocked it free.
If he gets it out a little quicker, he's got the wraparound attempt. He had Swayman looking to his right. Domi came out back from behind the net to his left. But if he was able to sweep it in one motion, I think he had room between the left skate and the post of the Boston goaltender.
Swayman did well to telegraph out on his knees to get out as far as he did. 2:32 to go. 7 apiece now, the shots. Yarncrook will take the face-off. Circle to the left. Swayman. And the draw one, but the Leafs defense, Riley thinking better of pinching. And the Bruins bring it out 2-on-2 with a shot that is blocked by Lyubushkin. He overskates the puck, but Marner able to get it to Riley. Riley carries to center. Left wing feed for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg down into the corner, stops it up. He had Riley breaking to the front, but then thought better of it. Was going to play it back to the point, but there wouldn't have been anybody there. Riley can't keep it in on the far side, and Lyubushkin has to go back into the Toronto zone to restore. Ahead it goes to Riley. The veteran to center with a pass in on the wing. Played in, and Riley is offside. A delay, and the Leafs will tag up, and by doing so, get a change of players going. Pasternak quickly brings it back in. And he got level there on a great hit. The puck along the boards. Played up on the left wing, and it's chipped to center ice. And big hit by Reeves. Takes down Pavel Zacha as well. This crowd's on its feet. Reeves knocks him down again. center ice. Minute 25 to go. Revo, they're chanting. Icing call against Boston. It's amazing what a little physicality will do to a crowd.
I don't know that if Reeves scored 5 goals in a game, he could get a bigger ovation than he just got on that shift. Pavel Zacha, but then there was a big hit on Pasternak coming over the line as well. We'll see if this group can be more successful again.
But draw one by the Leafs, but it's going to be chipped in, but not in deep. Pasternak flipping it down the ice. Got a bit of a reverse now. A loose puck in front of the goal. A pass in front is blocked by Edmondson. Another chance for the Bruins. Another block. It comes back to the blue line. Played around back of the net. Joel Edmondson has had a couple of key blocks on turnovers. Now it's back up on the right side. Marner can't get to it. It deflects on a shot wide of the net. Coyle back to the goal with less than a minute to go in the period. Coyle with a back pass for Pasternak. Shot in front of the goal, knocked into the corner by Matthews. He chases after it but doesn't clear. It comes back to the point. Near side for Carlo. Down around the boards to the far side for Coyle. Coyle had it knocked away. Cleared off the boards by the Leafs. Chipped to the line by Marner but not out. Played off the boards to the near side. Carlo keeping it in against Domi. Now it's Liljegren's turn. 16 seconds left in the period. Set out in front of the Leaf goal. Domi doesn't get it out the first time, but does the second.
That was unnecessary stress, wasn't it?
Tense moments there, yes. Played into the Boston end to end the period. And a hit there by Witherspoon. Was that on Domi? I believe it was.
I think it was Jarnkrok, Joe, that got in. As Jarnkrok had not yet, or pardon me, early hit. A little bit interference. Jarnkrok hadn't got to the puck. But I think the Bruins trying to respond to what they saw the Leafs do in the opening 20.
Before we go to our intermission with Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado, a couple of sad notes to pass on. Eddie Chadwick, 90 years young, the former goaltender with the Toronto Maple Leafs and an outstanding scout with the Edmonton Oilers. One of the nicest men I've ever met. 140 consecutive games in goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs. The last time that anyone played the entire season of 70 games, Eddie Chadwick did. A guy named John Bauer came along moments later. And Brad Selwood, confrere of mine, his son Ryan, 51 years of age, passing away suddenly on a trip to Portugal. So to Brad and Bonnie and the Chadwick family, our deepest condolences. A 0-0 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Generations of rock superstars, pop icons, and decades of songs that shaped our lives all have one thing in common: Clive Davis. Hear the songs and stories direct from the legendary record executive himself.
It was never work. It became a love affair with music.
The Clive Davis Channel, for a limited time starting Friday on Channel 79 and the Sirius XM app.
The playoffs are here.
Centering pass, score! Oh, what a sparkling save. And now McDavid has it again at center ice. Left circle shot. Score!
16 teams made the cut.
And only one can bring home the prize.
Misfits to champions. The Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Don't miss a moment. Sirius XM 91.
And the Sirius XM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Montreal's Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations, Jeff Gorton. Do you have some priorities here heading into the offseason?
We're going to definitely let it blossom, but, we're looking for maybe ways to move it along, too. We have a lot of assets. We're looking for those opportunities to maybe use some of those assets to set us up at a higher level going forward.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving, scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Harry Kane finishes off the game.
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee, because the real truth is this: they got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The doors on the regular season are shut. It's time for the playoffs to begin.
15 to go. Center pass advantage. Sagan, Duchesne, score! Game over!
The Stanley Cup playoffs. Every team, every game. Follow the action on the air.
At Sirius XM NHL on X.
Don't miss a moment.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91.
And the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Pasternak quickly brings it back in. And he got leveled there on a great hit. The puck along the boards, played up on the left wing, and it's chipped to center ice. And big hit by Reeves. Takes down Pavel Zacha as well. This crowd's on its feet. Reeves knocks him down again.
Yes, a robust first period, but it is scoreless after 20 minutes of play. After 20 minutes is brought to you by Subaru. Embrace spring weather with the Subaru all-weather drive event. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today. Boston scoreless, Toronto scoreless after one period of play. Jim Taddy and Frankie C with you. And the audio clip, because it is radio. The audio clip, 3 hits in a row.
3 hits in a row, and this building really came to life, and that is exactly why you sign a guy like Ryan Reeves, because in this situation, when you need a little energy injected into the game, injected into the building, there he is playing his best hockey, running around with 3 massive hits, and the fourth line has been really good in this series. Simon Benoit got involved with a nice hit on Pasternak, and that energy really carried throughout the rest of that shift. It was a great job by Ryan Reeves. He ended up catching Pavel Zacha just afterwards, and I mean, that's all you can ask for and more from the fourth line and Ryan Reeves. That's exactly what they're supposed to do.
But it is scoreless.
It is scoreless thanks to a block shot by Joel Edmondson on David Pasternak. And man, you talk about bringing guys in and them doing what they're supposed to do. Joel Edmondson, a couple times in that period, you really get to see why he's so important for this blue line. Not only is he just big, Jimmy, he's been blocking shots. He's got a really long reach, so he's able to disrupt a lot of plays behind the net, in front of the net. I thought he was a real physical force, and that block shot on Pasternak is a massive reason why it's still scoreless after one period.
Remarkable, considering that the Leafs had 40 seconds in a puck over the glass penalty, which is usually the kiss of death.
And that was, a little bit of the nervous energy that we saw from this team early on in the first period. So Simon Benoit flips the puck over the glass. There's no pressure on him. He's just trying to go off the glass, and he gets caught in that middle where you're thinking high flip or you're thinking shot off the glass, and he gets caught in the middle. He does a high flip that ends up going over the glass. The Leafs are able to kill the penalty, which is massive for them because the penalty kill has not been great. But even the start of this period, there was Timothy Liljegren loses an edge early on. Then Mitch Marner is the puck is behind the net. Mitch Marner is taking off. He isn't looking behind him. Jake McCabe sends a pass to nobody. That gets picked off. So some of that nervous energy was there for the team early on, but I thought they did a really good job of settling in, and Ilya Samsonov was great again. I told you, Jimmy, when we were driving down to morning skate today, that there is going to be a Sammy chant in the building tonight, and it didn't take long because about halfway through that first period, the crowd was chanting Sammy's name.
Unofficial records show that the earliest Go Leafs Go chant in Maple Leaf history in the playoffs happened tonight.
0.5 seconds into the game, Go Leafs Go is going. But the energy has been great in the building. The Leafs' energy has been really good, and Austin Matthews has been a handful for the Boston Bruins. And we're starting to see the matchup that both these coaches want. So Zaka's line starts the game. Zaka features Pasternak. So who does Sheldon Keefe put on the ice? It's very clear he wants the Tavares-Marner duo going up against Zaka and Pasternak. So it's going to be Marner versus Pasternak all night long, and Sheldon Keefe is okay with the Charlie Coyle-Austin Matthews matchup because why wouldn't you be? It's not Bergeron, it's not Kopitar, it's not Barkov. Austin Matthews should get the most out of that matchup, and throughout that first period, there were a lot of times where Matthews had the puck, transporting it, skating it through all three zones, and there were a couple good opportunities for him.
Let's talk about the Leafs power play. Still not effective, but you taught me something in that first period about what the Bruins are.
What the Bruins are trying to do is, as you know, the Leafs are always doing that drop pass. And when the drop pass is at its most effective in gaining entry into the zone, there's a little interchange between Matthews and Marner where the puck is going to change sides between the red line and the blue line. And what that does is that makes the penalty kill have to scramble. Because if they can just focus in on the puck going into the zone on one side and one side only, everyone can go to that side and they can flood it. When you make that pass, now everyone gets scrambled. So there was a good example where Coyle is the player who's pressuring the drop pass. He decides, I'm just going to stay on one side of the ice. I'm going to let Marner have that side of the ice. And now there's no interchange with Matthews and Marner. And all the Boston players, as soon as they get to the blue line, they swarm that one side of the ice. But Toronto was able to get past that, and then they ended up getting a couple opportunities on the power play. You didn't love their power play? I thought it was okay. I thought they worked hard to get the puck back. They still need to create more high-quality chances, but I liked the effort in retrieving the puck, and that led to a little more offensive zone time in their zone. But I do agree with you. They do need to generate something a little more substantial on the power play and get in front of the eyes of Swayman, because right now he's playing really well, and if he can see it, there's a very good chance he's going to stop it.
Okay, so in the last minute, the Bruins seemed to own the Leafs in their own zone. What happened there?
Well, that's Boston Bruins hockey. Like that's what they are. They're a good team. They're an aggressive team. But this game has shown remnants of games in the past where it's a lot of play on the wall, play in the neutral zone, where it's a little bit back and forth, but not wide open back and forth. It's a little bit of a, I got the puck for a bit, now you got the puck for a bit fest. And it's going to come down to which team is going to make the first mistake, which team is going to make the biggest mistake, and ultimately who's going to capitalize on the chances, because the high-quality chances right now are fewer and further between. Samsonov played well, Swayman played well. That matchup continues going into the second.
Frankie C., thanks very much. So it's scoreless after 20 minutes of play. Both goaltenders stopped all 7 shots they faced, so 7 shots on Swayman, 7 on Samsonov, and that's one of the reasons why it is scoreless after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey live from Scotiabank Arena on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Canadian drama is on CTV.
I thought I was strong enough to handle it all.
I'd rather have control of my life than leave it up to chance.
But isn't life all about taking chances? Sullivan's Crossing, new episode, Sunday at 8 on CTV.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Jim, it's a lovely spring day here on the beach. I came here for some solo time, like I do, but I got hungry instantly, so I went to Bob's Boardwalk Bistro when Bob says, sorry, cash only. Luckily for me, I always have a $5 bill stashed in my sandals, so I give it to Bob, and he says, we don't accept foot money here. That's
Thanks,
how he
Harold.
talks. But now
weather
I'm
reports
starving,
don't matter when you drive a Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and book a test drive during the all-weather drive event.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I just helped Tom with a business loan. He needed to soup up his mechanic shop. Not to brag, but I once modified a car to match my ultra speed. It went so fast, it broke the speed of sound.
Hey Insiders, TSI Mike here. Thank you all for being here and creating this amazing community that we have here for Toronto sports. All of you are insiders. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I made a decision today that we have been talking about here on the channel. We were going to donate 50% of the revenue from the channel to Sick Kids Hospital. I changed my mind today. We're going all in, 100%. Every single penny that we make from today, game one, all the way through the elimination of the Leafs in the playoffs, or when we lift the Stanley Cup and take it all home for the first time since 1967. Ladies and gentlemen, this is up to us. It depends on all of us. Chat it up, let your friends know. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and let's make a difference in our community. I'm alive today because of the great things that Sick Kids have done, and I'm lucky enough to have a platform and all of you amazing people here in the chat cheering on our buds for the playoffs. Go Leafs, go. Let's get pumped up. Let's get that fire in the chat, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. Back to the action. Go Leafs, go. Let's change the world, one insider at a time.
We don't know what causes T1D, and there is no cure yet. But we're closer than ever, and we need your help. Join me at the JDRF Walk to Cure Diabetes on June 9th and help raise funds for groundbreaking research. Together, we walk to cure T1D.
Register or donate today at jdrfwalk.ca.
Hey Canada, Tim's Smile Cookie is back to make a difference in your community. Get yours from April 29th to May 5th. 100% of proceeds will go to over 600 local charities and community groups. See you at Tim's, at participating restaurants in Canada for a limited time.
The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota. And check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory arriving daily. It's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. Just two other games tonight, and they are not started. Golden Knights will be in Dallas. That's game 2 of their series. Vegas has a 1-0 series lead. Starts at 9:30, and at 10, the Kings in Edmonton against the Oilers. Oilers took the opener and have a 1-0 series lead. In our game, it's scoreless after 20 minutes of play. 7 shots on both goaltenders. 2 penalties for Boston, 1 for the Leafs. And that's your story. Added some physical play by the Maple Leafs and maybe a penalty or 2 that wasn't called. And there you go, scoreless after 20 minutes of play. Oh, yes, guy, that means the second period is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Whatever the Fantasy Sports Radio is introducing you to the future stars of fantasy football at the NFL Draft. With the first pick. Hear pick-by-pick analysis from the fantasy football perspective. Find out which rookies you need to draft if you want to win your league.
Marvin Harrison is the best wide receiver prospect I've ever seen.
The NFL Draft lives on Fantasy Sports Radio. Starting tomorrow night at 8 Eastern on Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The playoffs are here.
Centering pass, score! Oh, what a sparkling save. And now McDavid has it again at center right. Left circle shot. Score!
16 teams made the cut.
And only one can bring home the prize.
Misfits to champions. The Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Don't miss a moment. Sirius XM 91.
And the Sirius XM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC. Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most. The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory. Jude Bellingham's driving scores! And one performance can turn a star into an immortal. Harry Kane finishes off the game. It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, yeah, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an... They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee. Because the real truth is this. They got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round 2. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs nothing and the Bruins nothing. And from the department of what my dad used to say, figures don't lie, but liars can figure, Mr. Ralph. We had a combination of 32 hits by the Bruins and 28 for the Maple Leafs. And somehow Jake McCabe didn't get a hit.
Sounds like it might be an NHL record for one period. Two teams. Just keeping track.
And everybody is still in the game, so no one...
Well, I mean,
there were some... Now, the difference is a hit and a body check. There were a number of really good body checks. And then hits are kind of, you know...
And you've got to look up the definition of a hit, which usually includes body contact that forces a change of possession of the puck. So it's not always... as you're thinking of a hit mid-ice like Ryan Reeves did, standing up his man to great applause from the home crowd.
Now, if he didn't get a turnover on the... would he get a hit for that? If the puck didn't turn over, would he have gotten a hit for that?
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
And then Elias Samsonov didn't get a save because Joel Edmondson bailed him out.
That's right.
Part of the stats.
Leafs to the left and the Bruins to the right. Getting set for the opening face-off of the second period as they lean in with the official. The puck is dropped. We're underway. Benoit skates up at center and shoots it in. Swayman out of the goal to trap it and play it into the corner. Down the boards came Marner to block a clearing attempt. It goes to the far side to Carlo. Now Marner trying to get to it against the boards. Able to get it freed up and into the corner for Tavares. Tavares tried to center, comes back to the point. Benoit. Long shot and an easy glove save for Swayman. Bruins get it out into neutral ice. Brought to the line and in on the left wing for Geekie. Geekie along the boards for Coyle. Back to Geekie. A shot blockered away there by Samsonov. Centered in front. And it's going to go by everybody and slide all the way down into Boston territory. McAvoy goes back. Up on the right side for Pavel Zacha. He was taken down there by Benoit. The puck comes free and the Leafs come near to the near side for McCabe. He's going to backhand it out at center. Almost turned over there as Lori then lost it and the Leafs bring it in. Here's Matthews in and he shot it wide on the far side. Leafs have to wait for teammates to get off as it bounced in again into the Boston zone.
Not sure if that caught some metal. The referee right away waved it off.
Well, if it is, it's number 27 on the year. On the left wing side for Zacha, a shot, and that went wide of the Leaf goal, and the rebound caroms to center ice. Witherspoon shoots it in. Slowed up by Samsonov back at the net. Morgan Riley steps around smartly and leads the rush out at center. He'll get to the red line. And when he shoots it in, Holmberg had gone in too soon, and the Leafs have to come out and not forecheck, and the Bruins are able to carry it out. Witherspoon to the red line and shooting it into the Toronto zone. Joel Edmondson takes his man into the corner. Pontus Holmberg helps out. Chips along the boards for Yarncrook. Yarncrook gets it back for Edmondson. Edmondson to his defensive partner Liljegren. Liljegren a long right wing feed, and Yarncrook couldn't come up with it. Bruins back in their own zone. The crowd has been electric here as the Bruins start out of their own end. A lead pass deflects down into the Toronto zone, and it'll be gathered up there by the Leafs and now skated up on the near wing and backhanded out at center ice. Reeves stood up. The puck goes down into the Boston end. Chipped out on center ice. Reeves getting a hit in there against Danton Heinen. Heinen got it down into the Toronto zone. Leafs back of their own goal. Bank pass to the line, gets by everybody and has gone for an icing. And the fourth line will have to work their best to get things organized on a face-off down in the Toronto zone.
Maybe this was going to be waved off as David Kemp tried to play it and ends up making contact with Trent Frederick.
Morgan Riley took a bit of a clip on the face.
Well, by the way,
it did.
Yep, Austin Matthews' opportunity off the wing does in fact go off the crossbar. High blocker on Jeremy Swayman.
27 posts this year for the 70-goal scorer overall. Reeves gets the puck out and change is coming for Toronto. Reeves slows up a pass up the middle, but Trent Frederick is there. And now here is McAvoy shooting it into the Toronto zone. Round on the far side for Frederick. Back of the net, Tavares. Tavares stick handles his way out in front of his own goal and carries to center. He's up to the blue line and in. Off on the wing, a bouncing puck, and Tavares was tackled, and out come the Bruins, led by Van Riemsdyk. A drop pass, and Frederick's shot deflected off a stick and went harmlessly wide. Puck comes back along to the blue line. Unable to get it out there was Nyes, and now grabbed off by Marner. Marner's going to drop it back, and it'll be McCabe sending it back for Marner on the right wing. He backhands down into Boston territory. Around the boards for Lohrei, and now up on the wing, and an errant pass comes down into the Toronto end, forcing Riley back. Riley sidesteps one forechecker, then gets the puck back to the net, and Lyubushkin with time and space got it ahead, but unable to handle the pass there was Bertuzzi. Near side, Domi. He'll slip it down into Boston territory. Swayman out of the goal. There's no score in the game. Domi intercepts a centering pass, and trying to knock it down with a glove there was the Bruins, who knock it down with a high stick. And so a face-off is going to be in the Boston zone.
Well, it's now just favoring the Leafs 9-8. The Leafs have not given up a whole lot in this game. Obviously, like a little more offense, as they've had the extra power play on the night. But I like the fact that they have defended exceptionally well in this.
Second period brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian Ultra, Export, or XL, there's a Molson with your name on it. Draw to the right of Swayman. Matthews, Domi, Bertuzzi. And the draw scrum, Bertuzzi knocked down, but it is brought out by Marchand to get it to center, and then a hit there fells the Leaf defenseman as Lillerman was knocked over. Now a rink-wide pass looking for Domi, doesn't connect. Brought back the other way by Lindholm. Into the slot area, Geekie goes wide. Matthews after him as the puck goes to Joel Edmondson. Played back for Matthews, and he'll get it off Domi's stick, but doesn't get it out of the zone. Long shot. It was about waist high. And Samsonov had little trouble with that once he spotted it, but it kind of came through a bit of a crowd. And he's able to track it and take it on the chest and bring a face-off in the Leaf end.
Well, it's a game of inches, though, isn't it? Because Austin Matthews looks like he's got Max Domi breaking out of the zone, but it's probably an inch off the heel of his stick. The Bruins are able to keep it in and get it to Ilya Samsonov.
Draw to the right in the Toronto end. Leafs nothing, the Bruins nothing. And the draw won by the Maple Leafs. Wrapped around the boards to the far side. Cleared to the line, but not out. Backhanded in wide of the Leaf goal. McCabe gets it again with some time and space, and now this time flips it out at center. And it is cleared in by Calle Yarncrook. Into the right wing corner. Centering pass went whistling through the blue paint. No one there. Brought back the other way by Boston. Slid in for Pasternak, but well out of his reach. Cleared back into the corner for Benoit, and then David Camp comes to help out. Along the boards for McCabe. Around on the wall, it'll be chipped out at center ice. Yarncrook was able to get there, but couldn't get around the last defender for Boston. DeBrusk starts back at center. Plays into the slot area, and now in over the line. Lohrei now with a long shot into the glove of Samsonov with 14:38 to go in the period. That shot looked like it was going wide, but they're going to give it a shot on goal anyway. 10-9 now favoring Boston.
Do you really believe that's not going to change?
No, I don't. Well, no, I don't know that, to be honest with you.
It's been the fun. It's funny when we're talking about different stats, and of course, statisticians here review everything from shots on goals
and
to assists.
Very conscientious.
Yeah. But remember hearing Wayne Gretzky talk about back in the old days where linesmen and referees had to come up with assists. So imagine that. Somebody said that Phil Esposito one year must have got 30 assists just from telling the linesman.
And I got it.
Yep.
So Gretzky got all of those assists that way. Really?
Yeah, if you watch the highlights.
Yeah, if you watch the highlights. Puck down into the Toronto zone.
Wow, that's a generous icing.
Yes, it is. Against Boston, it'll be brought back.
No, I think by the time Wayne Gretzky made it to the NHL in the 80s, that might have been changed a little bit. Oh, maybe they're going to call this a delayed offside. It's going to come outside the Leaf line right in front of the Boston bench.
Bruins will make a change. Let's see if Sheldon Keefe elects to make a change. No, he's going to leave. Tavares, Marner out there. Maple Leaf Square is packed again. The draw won by the Bruins. It's Robertson who's on the left wing on this line as it's cleared back of the net. Lyubushkin ties up his man. That's drawing a crowd back of the goal. Dug out by Tavares. Tavares up the middle looking for Marner, but the pass was over his stick and comes to center ice. Shot right back down into the Leaf end. Around back of the net. Cleared up on the wing for Marner. Marner settles it nicely with a pass on the left wing for the captain. Tavares with a shot, but it's a weak one. And an easy glove save for Jeremy Swayman. Both teams have kept things to the outside and given their goaltenders lots of looks. And each goaltender has made a couple of excellent saves, but none better than Joel Edmondson blocking a shot with an empty net. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Jim, we can expect more thunderstorms as the evening approaches, and then overnight... Oh, hold on. Yeah, can I get 2 number 6s with a side of curly fries? Hold the onions, please. Yeah.
Harold, are you in the drive-thru right now?
Jim, no one listens to this. Oh, thank you. Yeah, great.
Weather reports don't matter when you drive a Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and book a test drive during the all-weather drive event.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Ron is a teacher helping bright minds, but this time he needed help. Alpine Credit sent a cosmic superhero with a debt consolidation loan. She conjured a magic book, Debt Consolidation 101.
Hey Insiders, it's playoff time. Go Leafs go. This is what we've been waiting for all season long. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, turn on that little bell so you get notified every single time we go live here on Toronto Sports Insider. Blue Jays games, Maple Leafs games, every single one of them. Go Leafs go. Let's get back to the action. Let's see what our buds got.
To create.
Echo thanks its presenting partner Sun Life and its official partners Air Canada and MasterCard.
Face-off coming. Down in the Boston zone. Bruins making a change, and the Leafs are hanging around their bench to wait and see who they're going to counter with. So there has been some matching here by both coaches, depending on who gets the last call. Draw to the right of the Boston goal. No score in the game. Series tied 1-1. The draw controlled by Toronto. Worked back to the blue line on the left wing side on a shot that didn't make it through, but it broke the stick of Charlie Coyle. Kept in by Joel Edmondson. Back of the net for Matthews. That went by him. Then Marner into the corner, lost it, and the Bruins have alley-ooped it high to center ice. Marner out with Domi and Matthews, and now the Bruins work in over the line, and a shot is blocked. And Marner trying to get it out, fails to do so. Cleared around the boards and into the corner. Brad Marchand in there, bodied there by Matthews. To the left wing side, it comes to Lindholm. A shot, and that deflected wide. Far point kept in by Brandon Carlo. Into the slot area, and a shot deflects high to the near boards. And the mask of Samsonov has come off. You know, when I played in the Unionville Men's League, I should have figured out how you get that mask off as fast as some of these guys do. I may never have lost a game.
Well, I never got to that level, but I love hearing the stories.
Oh, yeah. We should go out and have a cocktail or two. I can tell you all about the... Oh, never mind.
I think I know most of them, to be honest.
All right, it was a bad analogy. I apologize.
Tell me the story again when you flew the plane back from Boston yesterday.
Yeah, let's talk about that one. That was a good story. No, actually, I just flew on a plane back from Boston yesterday.
Well, if you're going to talk about your goaltending, I think that makes you a pilot when it comes to flying.
Yeah, that's right. We might as well, if we're going to exaggerate things, why don't we take it to full length, right?
Yeah, you said we.
Oh, sorry.
You're on your own here.
Played on the boards. The Bruins keep it in with a point shot into the chest of Samsonov. And he hangs on.
Well, if one of the questions was Ilya Samsonov and the goaltending, unless a game 2, thinking, oh no, now the Leafs have been better in front of them, but they have not given up a goal since the 1952 mark of the second period, or the opening period of game 2.
Leafs win the face-off, and Yarncrook skates it to center. Chips it into the right wing corner, and Nyes goes in there heavily against the end boards with McAvoy.
We got a penalty.
But a hooking call is coming here, and I think it's going to Boston.
And it's Pasternak who is arguing to the official on the way to the box.
So the Leafs are going to go to the power play for the third time. And your power play is brought to you by Subaru. Embrace spring weather with the Subaru All-Weather Drive event. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today.
Is it time?
Yep, I think it's time.
Toronto Maple Leafs. We got to go back. That's April 7th to April 17th. Have not been shut out in a game for 227 consecutive games, regular season and playoff.
Love that stat, Mr. Ralph. Draw won by Toronto, but cleared by Boston down the ice. Out of the goal comes Samsonov, and he's going to play it off the boards to center. Leafs bring it back, and Matthews wheels in over the line. Dropping it back, here's Bertuzzi, ripping it wide of the net. And the Bruins are going to get it out and down the ice.
Boy, what a smart play by Ilya Samsonov. Had to navigate some bodies to get it out. It led to the rush for Toronto.
Brought back now by Riley, dropping for Bertuzzi and given off to Matthews. On to Marner. Marner hits the blue line, saucers it into the right wing side, and Bertuzzi gets it back to the blue line. A shot taken wide of the net by Riley, goes to the corner. Marner trying to center, was too well covered. Puck in the skates, dug out by Tavares. A centering pass to Matthews, off the blocker of Swayman, just wide. Up against the far boards, Bertuzzi getting it back to the blue line, then had it knocked away, stole it again, but then it's cleared by Boston.
Boy, Austin Matthews, 2 great looks. One off the crossbar, and one just does get a piece of Swayman's blocker.
Liljegren to center, dropping it back. Yarncrook with the second unit, brings it to the line and in. 40 seconds left in the power play. Back of the net, McAvoy gets it up on the wing. And a good hit by Liljegren to take his man down. Brought back in by Morgan Riley. Works into the slot with a pass on the right wing side. And a hard shot wired wide of the goal. Goes down the ice off the stick of Calle Yarncrook. Boy, he got a lot of that one, didn't he?
And that's where you at least got to get it on net looking for a rebound.
Here's Domi. For Yarncrook, back to Domi on the wing for Liljegren. Rung the boards around to the far side. Nyes comes out of the corner with it. Back to the net for Domi. Max looks. Plays it back on the far boards. Penalty is over. Domi back to the net. Lost it. Here's Pasternak looking for a loose puck, but doesn't materialize. Down into the corner, Domi trying to come out in front. A backhand try by Nyes was knocked down. Nyes taken down by Coyle. Bruins start out with it. Pasternak dropping it off and now to the line, and in it comes to Marchand. Marchand playing it into the slot. Good block there in the Leafs counter. Here's Yarncrook coming to center ice at Camp. Dropping for Domi. Domi into the slot area looking for Joel Edmondson, and it didn't materialize. Back to the net, Domi again getting it in front. It comes back to the blue line. Leafs think better of trying to press, and it comes out over the line. Pasternak had it knocked away. Leafs start back. Connor Dewar will shoot it in. Round on the boards for Reeves on the left wing boards. Back to the net. It's centered in front. Oh, what a chance for Dewar, and it just was stopped by Swayman. Another good hit by Reeves. Played out at center ice. Here's Maroon in across the line. Works into the corner. Had it knocked away. Good play by Reeves to play it out at center ice. And now the Leafs will get a change going. Back to the net for Toronto in the Leaf zone. Pontus Holmberg plays it off the boards and down the ice, and Yarncrook will deny an icing. He'll get down into the corner. Comes free, and the Bruins have it out at center ice. Near side for Witherspoon. Carried into the Toronto zone. Puck back to the net to a broken stick, but carried into the corner now for Liljegren. Long lead pass. Here's Robertson in over the line. A pass in front. Oh, and Yarncrook never did get a shot away as he was alone in front. The puck was on his backhand to the point. Far side, shot by Edmondson, deflects wide to the side of the net, and it's grabbed off by Witherspoon. He's going to play it out off his skate and down into the zone, and an icing call waved off. Now a pass comes in front of the net. Down there on a good save made by Samsonov. Off the stick of Patrick Maroon.
Starting to open up a bit.
Yes, it is, and this crowd is enjoying every minute of it. Played into the Boston zone. Sammy. Puck in the center ice area. Riley chipping it along. Bertuzzi couldn't get it up the boards. Puck goes down in back to the Toronto goal. Labushkin unable to clear. Now it's knocked to the blue line and out. Carried to center by Domi. Here's Max, couldn't get around the defense. Then a fanning on it, and Domi almost stole it. It comes back out at center ice, and Maroon is stripped of the puck. Domi's everywhere. He flips it in on goal, and Swayman will leave it for a defenseman. Brought up on the near board, stolen by Matthews. Couldn't keep it in. Matthews knocked it down, brought in over the line. Leafs are going to play it back out at center. Good idea, because I thought it was offside, and the goal wouldn't have counted anyway. But back in. Center ice, the Bruins. Play it in with 7:28 to go in a scoreless hockey game. Glad you're along with us. Marner to center. Rink-wide feed for McCabe. He'll get it in over the line, but the Bruins have it under control. Play it off the boards to center. Leafs are back there, and Benoit going around back of his own goal. Runs into a traffic jam and is dragged down by Pasternak, who throws a punch at the Leaf defenseman. That'll draw a crowd. But there's a whistle for some reason, and I'm not sure what it is.
And it was the linesman that blew it down. And it'll be interesting to see.
Well, it's not icing because we're going to a commercial break. Well, we'll try and sort it out for you when we come back. The Leafs nothing and the Bruins nothing. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Get closer to exclusive.
Hey, insiders! It's Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs here. And holy Mackinac, another great night here on TSI. First and foremost, Mike wanted me to thank you all for being here and helping create this amazing community that we have here at Toronto Sports Insider. Just by listening to this message, you are a part of something very, very special. Mike has asked me to help in his goal of making a difference to Sick Kids Hospital with this great group of Toronto sports fans. Now, Sick Kids Hospital is very near and dear to my heart. My son Sean was diagnosed with leukemia when he was just a year old, and he's 30-some-odd years of age now and a big strapping lad because of their magic that they work at Sick Kids. Toronto Sports Insider is donating 100% of the channel's revenue through the Leafs 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs run. What an amazing start you have had in Game 1. Over $150 in Super Chat donations, 4 new Insider members, and almost 34,000 views. Now's the time for this community of Leaf fans to make a real-world difference together throughout the rest of this playoff run. Now, the best way for us to increase the amount of the donation is to please share the link to Toronto Sports Insider right here on YouTube to bring more Leaf fans into this amazing community. Changing the world, one insider at a time. We'll see you in the chat. And holy Mackinac, go Leafs, go. And it's the playoffs, you would expect nothing less. Tavares, Marner and Nyes. Draw in the Leaf zone, scrum by Tavares, who is down on a knee, but it comes back to the point. Witherspoon gets it down into the slot. A shot blocked in front of the net. Tavares with skating room to bring it out into neutral ice. He'll get the center. Now tries to backhand to the right wing side and does. He'll drop pass for Marner. Marner sends it in front of the net. They score! They score! Matthew Nyes! But 16 is the magician!
But for Marner to get it, Joel Edmondson makes a great play. Tavares has the puck on the left wing boards in front of the Leaf bench. He comes out of the scrum with the puck. Edmondson takes off on the right wing side. Gets the pass, gets over the line, and drops it to Mitch Marner. And Marner does what Marner does. Finds Matthew Nyes off the back post. And he chips it into the net to give the Leafs their first
opening goal of
the game.
Yep. Matthew Nyes, first goal of the playoffs, and this crowd is on its feet. But the magician makes a tremendous pass. Puck down in the Boston zone, almost stolen there by Matthews. Cleared in by Lyubushkin, back to the net it goes. Here's Bertuzzi, banking it back, it goes to Lyubushkin, and a shot coming. Pad save with a big juicy rebound out in front. No one could get to it, but the Bruins bring it back. Van Riemsdyk in, stopped by Samsonov on a brilliant save made by Sammy. Cleared by McAvoy into the Leaf end. Samsonov playing it around the boards, but it'll be trapped at the blue line by Frederick. A shot. That stops Samsonov down, and he's covered up.
They've been better in front of him, but Ilya Samsonov twice in this game stops chances with men alone. Zach in the first and Van Riemsdyk here in the second. Joel Edmondson makes a great play on this as well. You expect it from Marner, but for Edmondson to get the line and be fully aware of who should have the puck at this moment, and he drops it back to Marner in the right wing circle. He finds Nyes, and the Leafs with the lead. 6:07 to go here in the second period.
Dewar, Yarncrook, and Camp now for Toronto. Face off in the Leaf zone to the left. 1-0 Toronto. Draw one cleanly by Boston. Sent off on the right wing half boards. Trying to tie his man up there was McCabe. He had it knocked away. It comes free for Lindholm. Back of the net. The Leafs are able to punch it up on the boards, but don't get it out. Coyle into the near corner. Looking to play it back to the blue line. Knocked down on the play. It comes to the point. Lindholm over on the right wing side on a shot. Deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Chipped off the boards, but not out. McCabe will try the other side, and Benoit will get it to the line and out at center ice, and it's brought in on a delayed offside. Benoit regroups with McCabe. Quickly played ahead, and Camp takes his time to center with a long shoot in off the blocker of Swayman. Played around the boards into the left wing corner. Brought back now by Lindholm. Lindholm got it ahead on the left wing, and John Beecher has it turned over. Brought back the other way. Pontus Holmberg with a centering pass, and just failing to get a stick on it was Reeves. That would have lifted the roof right off the old barn. Leafs are pounding their sticks over on the far side about something or other. Played down into their zone, and Reeves goes in looking for a hit. just missing Witherspoon with it. Puck back into the Toronto zone. Morgan Riley settles it down. A bank pass to center. Robertson chipping it in over the line. Pontus Holmberg in on the forecheck with a hit. Crowd chanting Swayman. Now here's Tavares, centering feed. Nice, around back of the net, centered. Oh, and a great chance for Marner that was blocked. Another shot, scramble in front of the net, played out at center ice. Racing after it is DeBrusk. Riley gets back and chases DeBrusk into the corner. Good defensive play there by Morgan Riley. Back of the net and around the boards near side for Loai. Got it into the corner. Tavares trying to get to it. High stick, glove pass. Face off outside the blue line.
I'll tell you, the great play by Riley was that he turned and busted his way back down the ice. He saw DeBrusk take off. He wasn't concerned about the puck. He was concerned about getting back, and when DeBrusk did get it, Riley was right on him.
Nice from Marner and Edmondson at 13-10, 1-0 Toronto. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Jim, it's a lovely spring day here on the beach. I came here for some solo time, like I do, but I got hungry instantly, so I went to Bob's Boardwalk Bistro when Bob says, sorry, cash only. Luckily for me, I always have a $5 bill stashed in my sandals, so I give it to Bob, and he says, we don't accept foot money here. That's
Thanks,
how he
Harold.
talks. But now
weather
I'm
reports
starving,
don't matter when you drive a Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and book a test drive during the all-weather drive event.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Sandra and Kabir are celebrating 50 years of marriage by turning their boring bedroom into a spicy one. Oh my. Alpine Credit sent a super strength hero to help with a home renovation loan. New floors, windows, a heart-shaped button that plays this tune. Okay, I think that's quite enough. Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
We all have the power to shape the world. We're connected to the world we share, to each other. I am future. I wait in the world of Echo.
Discover the extraordinary with Echo, the spectacular new show by Cirque du Soleil. Opens May 8th under the Big Top at Toronto Lakeshore Boulevard West. Tickets at CirqueDuSoleil.com.
The world is yours to create.
Echo thanks its presenting partner Sun Life and its official partners Air Canada and MasterCard.
Just a small note from Leafs Nation. Congratulations on your shutout statistic that once again has borne fruit.
Well, being able to read is the first thing. Knowing where to find that stat when I look at my phone is what I'm most proud of.
And that you keep it, which is good. So the Leafs with a 1-0 lead. Lead pass to center for Nyes, who drops it back, then fed ahead. Marner lifting it high into the right wing corner. The big Leaf winger Nyes goes around back of the net for Tavares. Tavares working on the boards on the far side. Down low, centering pass. Nyes got a sweet little 5-foot pass from Marner, and his shot was kicked away by Swayman. How's Marner playing tonight? Along the boards. Marner in the near wall, kicks it free. Left wing side for the Leafs. Benoit cleared down back of the net. Marner after it along with Domi. Back of the net for Matthews. Matthews is tackled right in front of the official by McAvoy. And no call. Played in high into the Leaf zone.
Well, you know what they're thinking. 3-1 power plays for the Leafs.
Joel Edmondson off the stick of Domi down into the corner. Carlo sends it around the boards, and it's up on the left wing, and now Marchand gets it ahead at center for Geekie. Drop for Marchand into the slot. A shot went wide of the Leaf goal. A sharp angle shot came in front, and Bertuzzi coming down the slot was able to intercept that pass and get it out. Bruins have shot it right back in again. Edmondson fans on a clearing attempt. Then it is grabbed off by Matthews, and he gets an alley-oop to center ice to clear. Bruins go back. Now the Marchand and Edmondson getting tangled up. Now the Bruins break it in with a shot, and they score.
It was Marchand and Bertuzzi, and they're still going at it, but Boston has tied it on a soft one from the top of the left wing circle. A simple wrist shot that seems to handcuff Ilya Samsonov.
But why the whistle hadn't gone?
Well, first of all, you had Matthews being thrown down by McAvoy, no call. I mean, that's a 3-1 call in power plays already. But Joe, it seemed like everybody got caught up in the Marchand Bertuzzi going back and forth. Bertuzzi dove to try to get the call. But
that's one that has to be stopped.
Yep. Wow.
Frederick gets the goal for Boston to tie the game.
I don't know if this goes off something, or is that straight into you?
Yeah, long shoot in, blockered away by Samsonov. Another shot goes wide. Bruins pressing now after tying the game. Played to the line and not out. Into the near corner, a centering pass. Sent in front of the net, a shot stopped by Samsonov on the short side. Bruins pressing here. Here's Witherspoon, and a glove save by Samsonov will stop play. 2 minutes to go in the second period, and the game is now tied 1-1.
And here comes the push from the Bruins. It's when you see a team, they score the goal, not a great one for Samsonov to give up. And now you see the Bruins are shooting from everywhere, aren't they? Trying to take advantage of Ilya Samsonov, and even this long one. Samsonov, Lyubushkin didn't know where the rebound was. A long shot from outside the blue line, and Samsonov just kind of booted him right back up in the air.
There's no question there should have been a whistle because of what was going on away from the play. As it turns out, now the puck knocked high in the air. The Leafs are able to knock it out into the center ice area. And Trent Frederick gets the goal. Tour smashed into, and the puck comes free. Here's Camp ringing the boards. There's going to be a penalty to Boston. Kept in now by the Leafs to the far side. It's a little, too late. But the pass comes now to Benoit. Benoit looking for Matthews and giving it to him. Matthews then has it knocked away. And here's the call for roughing that will go, I believe, to the defenseman McAvoy.
Well, he got away with the one earlier, and Boston ends up scoring moments later. Jim Montgomery doesn't seem to like it. I'm sure he's saying he did something 10 times worse 2 minutes ago, and you didn't do anything. We're trying to look here. I think that, you know what, this could be a makeup call. I mean, he takes his man and then a bit of a face wash.
No.
Right in front of the Leaf bench.
Power play brought to you by Subaru. Embrace spring weather with the Subaru All-Weather Drive event. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today.
They need one now.
Draw to the right of Swayman. And Tavares is being waved out. Matthews will move in. Matthews wins the draw. Marner on the far boards. Tried to chip it in front of the net. Matthews having difficulties with it. And it's cleared off a stick. And now the Bruins have a 2-on-1 break. Here's a chance for Marchand with a pass back and then sent over top of the Leaf goal. Marchand drilled to the boards and it's back out at center ice. And a penalty coming to Toronto. It was Coyle who was hit. And Swayman trips getting to the Boston bench. So the power play will be negated. Bruins are back in their own zone.
And it was a high stick that came up. And Boston's just going to hold on to it as long as they can to get more time at the power play.
Played back into the Boston zone. 33 seconds left in the period. And they're going to get it up on the right wing now and bring it to center. 3 Leafs trapped in the offensive zone, and the Bruins have numbers, and a shot is blocked. Grabbed off on the far side. Played into the corner. Centering pass! Knocked aside, and Pasternak off the near wing. Had a glorious chance.
But Ilya Samsonov has stopped a lot that you would consider to be guaranteed goals, but the one that got past them, that is this game tied at 1, is the curious one of a 1-1 tie. Oh, that's going to be roughing too. Maybe the high stick came up. But this was after Leafs had given up the odd man rush back the other way. Tyler Bertuzzi. Oh, I think, this is a soft call. This is another makeup call. Bertuzzi got his arms up a bit, but Coyle grabs his face after Bertuzzi made contact, and that was enough for the officials. Boston's been good at that in this series, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Draw one by the Maple Leafs. The puck, though, comes back to the point. Lindholm trying to send it in. Pasternak being chased there by Benoit. It comes to the line, but not a long shoot in, directed wide of the net by Samsonov. Another shot. Samsonov stopped that one, and the horn brings an end to the period. They'll play 4-on-4 for 38 seconds, and then the Bruins will get about a minute and 10 seconds or so on the power play to start the frame.
Minute 7.
Hey, really good. You did some nice work there.
By comparison.
Yes. No, I was still working with numbers. At any rate.
I'm pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, you are.
Too.
Are you sure it's right?
Nope.
Jim Teddy and Frankie Corrado. But you said it with such authority. I thought that was perfect. Along with our second period intermission, you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
It's NFL Draft Week on Mad Dog Sports Radio, and our hosts are reacting to every rumor, trade, and draft pick.
This is how you build a team.
That's why you love the NFL Draft.
And giving you, the fan, a chance to sound off on your favorite team.
I need you to talk me off the ledge. I don't understand what happened with our draft. The move we made. Love the pick.
Listen all week long on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, and on the SiriusXM app.
The playoffs are here.
Centering pass, score! Oh, what a sparkling save. And now McDavid has it again at center right. Left circle shot. Score!
16 teams made the cut.
And only one can bring home the prize.
Misfits to champions. The Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Don't miss a moment. Sirius XM 91.
And the Sirius XM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Montreal's Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations, Jeff Gorton. Do you have some priorities here heading into the offseason?
We're going to definitely let it blossom, but, we're looking for maybe ways to move it along, too. We have a lot of assets. We're looking for those opportunities to maybe use some of those assets to set us up at a higher level going forward.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stelling. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The doors on the regular season are shut. It's time for the playoffs to begin.
15 to go. Center pass advantage. Sagan, Duchesne, score! Game over!
The Stanley Cup playoffs. Every team, every game. Follow the action on the air.
At Sirius XM NHL on X.
Don't miss a moment.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91.
And the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morissette, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving, scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Harry Kane finishes off the game.
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Tavares with skating room to bring it out into neutral ice. He'll get to center. Now tries to backhand to the right wing side and does. He'll drop pass for Marner. Marner sends it in front of the net. They score! They score! Matthew Nyes! But 16 is the magician!
1-0 for the Leafs, and it's 1-1 Boston and Toronto after 40 minutes of play. TSN after 40 delivered by 241 Pizza. Get a free medium one-topping pizza with a $25 minimum purchase before tax and delivery. Online orders only. Visit 241pizza.com. Use the code FREEM for that free medium. Jim Taddy and Frankie Corrado with you. So let's deal with the goal.
Yes, Guy.
Number 16, a nice pass.
A really nice pass. And listen, it's been well documented Mitch Marner's struggles, but on that play, we got to see exactly what makes Mitch Marner. A little bit of poise, reaches out, puts the pass around his check. But the thing I like the most about that is Joel Edmondson, the defenseman who was up in the play. He dished it off to Marner. He cuts through the middle of the ice. And Jimmy, I don't know if you noticed this, but he lifted Kevin Shattenkirk's stick just a little bit, allowed that puck to go through to Matthew Nyes, and Matthew Nyes buries it. And good for Nyes, because you know what?
Yeah.
He's taken his lumps over the course of this series. Like, he has put himself in a lot of situations where he was going to hit or be hit. And I think that's, like, he's involved in the series in a big way. He gets rewarded by driving the back post on that play, gets the goal, but Mitch Marner makes it happen with the pass. Joel Edmondson
reminds you of somebody, doesn't he?
I don't know who you're referring to right now, Jimmy. Who are you referring to?
I'm not. I'm just, you sort of mangled his name in the press box when it happened.
Well, okay. I called him Joel Edmundstrom, and you said, what are you talking about, Guy? Because you know why? Nicholas Lidstrom and Joel Edmondson equals Edmundstrom.
Yes. Well,
okay. It's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, you have to explain it. It's not funny, as I said at the time.
I said it's a smart joke, and that's why I had to explain it to you multiple times, Jimmy.
But it's wicked.
But the point remains, Joel Edmondson has been outstanding in this game.
Oh, yeah.
And it hasn't just been the physicality, hasn't just been the block shots. Like, he has moved the puck. There's been a lot to like about his game. I would even go as far as saying he's been the top 2 to 3 best players on the ice in this game. That's including Pasternak, Matthews, Marner, Marchand, go down the list. He's been one of the best players in this game.
Okay, so now how do you explain how this game was officiated? Because for a while, nothing was going to get called, and then everything was.
Well, yeah, everything got called for a little while, and Toronto kept going to the power play. And then there's a play behind the net with McAvoy and Matthews where Matthews is leaning back onto McAvoy, but McAvoy does reach in a little bit, and they both go down to the ice. Matthew goes on top of McAvoy. So it is enough of a hold that normally it would get called. And given the way this game has been officiated, it should have been called, but it's not called. And then at the offensive blue line, Bertuzzi and Marchand engage in a little bit of a jousting battle back and forth. Marchand trips Bertuzzi. That doesn't get called. And Trent Frederick gets a long stretch pass, goes down the ice, scores a goal. And I wonder now, Jimmy, how do you feel about that goal if you're Ilya Samsonov?
You don't like it?
No. It's short
like
side. It looks like he's off his ankle. He gets beat clean. And that's the one where I wonder now if you're Boston, if you go into the third period and you say, we know we can score on this guy now. Because
I think if you're Boston, you go, just continue on what we're doing.
Samsonov has played well up until that point. That's the one that you say you can't give up that goal. But as far as the McAvoy-Matthews non-call, you know what that says to me from an officiating standpoint? We've given Toronto too many power plays, and we can't give them another one at this point.
But sorry, Guy, you're not giving them anything. You're calling what you see.
No kidding. If you have the infraction, you should get the penalty. Like that's just the way it works, and it didn't work in that situation. And then, of course, after that, the officiating standard went back to what it had been, where Tyler Bertuzzi gets called for a high stick on Charlie Coyle. It's a little bit of a sell job. It's enough of a high stick that it could get called. And then Charlie McAvoy ends up getting a penalty anyways on Connor Dewar, where he was going to get away with the hit. It was he gave him a little extra business after when he was on the ice, and that's where the roughing call occurred. But all in all, you sit here, you're going into the third period. It's 1-1. Boston had the majority of the shots in that period. They had the better of the chances. Yeah. But if you're Toronto, you're one shot away, and you're one big shift of a good defensive hockey display away from putting this game to bed. But you have to be able to do it.
Before that sequence, before Matthews goes down behind that net, and all this stuff happened within a minute of each other, maybe even seconds. That play and the Bertuzzi-Marchand play, this is all happening at the same time. Before that happens, the Leafs own Boston. Well, they look disorganized at times, Boston. And you know what? Boston has looked a little bit lethargic, a little bit slow. And they've had some players get caught out there for some long shifts, and they really had to chug later in those shifts, and they found a way to weather the storm. Like, that's what they do. They're not going to make it easy on you. That's one thing about playing this Bruins team is they are never going to let anything be easy for the Maple Leafs. But there was even another shift where Toronto's fourth line pops onto the ice, and they get a really good opportunity. It was Connor Dewar, a really nice feed behind the net by David Kampf. Ryan Reeves was in on that play as well. He was involved on the half wall, the boards, and then shortly afterwards, it was Boston's fourth line that countered with an opportunity with Patrick Maroon. But, you know, talking about Ilya Samsonov, you mentioned the goal that Frederick scores. You also have to mention the breakaway save that he makes on James Van Riemsdyk. Absolutely.
That is the one where you look at it and say, that's the save you needed. That's the one that gives your team a little more time, buys them some time to get things going offensively, which, you know, it still hasn't been the easiest, but one of the differences, Jimmy, between the second period and the first period is you take a look when the Leafs have the puck in the offensive zone, there is one or two blue jerseys in front of Jeremy Swayman at all times. I can guarantee you Sheldon Keefe was talking about that during the intermission, because in the first period, that was not the case.
The other thing you see in the Leafs zone is when there's a loose puck, it's cleared out of there really fast.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of that. Like, that's where Joel Edmondson's game has really come to life, where, you know, Boston is really good at these small area passes around the net, behind the net, in front of the net. Like, they will make that one extra pass in the slot in order to generate an opportunity. And in fact, Pasternak got a one-timer chance, but it was from a really sharp angle. He wasn't able to score. But to your point, like, Toronto has done a much better job of making sure that those chances have been fewer and farther between, and making sure that they're gobbling things up, and they've been okay with just sending it up the boards or just putting it off the glass, and essentially just living to fight another day in their defensive zone, which is good. You don't need to do anything fancy when the time doesn't call for it. Sometimes it just needs to be simple meat and potatoes hockey, especially in your own zone.
Frankie C., thanks very much. And in officiating school, they say, call what you see what you call.
Nice, Jimmy. I'll remember that.
Okay, this is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's it looking like?
Jim, we can expect more thunderstorms as the evening approaches, and then overnight... Oh, hold on. Yeah, can I get 2 number 6s with a side of curly fries? Hold the onions, please. Yeah.
Harold, are you in the drive-thru right now?
Jim, no one listens to this. Oh, thank you. Yeah, great.
Weather reports don't matter when you drive a Subaru. Visit your local Subaru dealer today and book a test drive during the all-weather drive event.
It's hard to make time for everything on your to-do list, especially at this time of year. But blood and plasma donors are essential to helping meet patients' needs. We're asking you to add a donation to your to-do list.
Because our communities depend on it.
Because it's critical to my son's treatment.
Because you might need it in an emergency.
Make donating a life-saving habit. For patients and the people who love them, you'll make all the difference. Visit blood.ca to book a donation appointment at a Canadian Blood Services location near you.
Lately, times have been challenging, with many people facing increased interest rates, inflation, and rising credit card debt. Everyone needs a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your personal finances. But you're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you. With Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. They are one of the largest non-profit credit counseling organizations in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They could help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-656-7129. That's 1-800-656-7129. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-656-7129. Call toll-free today for a free consultation. 1-800-656-7129. Ontario license number 4705786.
Transat presents a kid on vacation down south, testing the limits of what she can order.
Hi, I'll have ice cream, please.
Okay.
With chocolate syrup? And pizza?
Claro.
Made of chocolate?
Of course.
A towel swan, but made out of churros?
Sure.
A bowl of caramel so it could swim?
Okay.
Is this what true power feels like?
Yes.
It's the family promo where kids stay and eat free with Transat. Book your sun vacation package at transat.com or contact your travel agent. Conditions apply. Air Transat. Travel moves us.
Over a calm, glassy lake, you cast your line. Your new Toyota sits majestically by the water's edge. A loon calls in the distance. Or a duck. Anyways, one thing's for sure. This moment isn't just a dream. It's an invitation to adventure. So stop dreaming. Red Tag Days are on at Toyota. For a limited time, lease a 2024 Tundra 4x4 Crewmax SR from $164 weekly for 36 months at 5.99% with $5,100 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Ontario Toyota dealer today.
The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. Build your next dream Toyota at Maple Toyota. Check out Maple Toyota's pre-owned inventory. Arriving daily, it's time to Toyota. Visit mapletoyota.com. Two other games, none of them started at 9:30 in Dallas. The Vegas Golden Knights will be trying to extend their 1-0 series lead. And at 10 o'clock in Edmonton, the Oilers will be trying to extend their 1-0 series lead over the LA Kings. In our game, it's 1-1, Boston and Toronto after 40 minutes of play. Nyes is first, Frederick is second, is all the scoring. An interesting third period awaits. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Hear the 2024 NFL Draft on SiriusXM.
With the first pick,
NFL Radio will be in Detroit as Rick Neuheisel, Jason Horowitz, Jim Miller, and Pat Kerwin provide instant analysis.
He makes all the throws. You will be defending the whole field.
As well as exclusive interviews with coaches, executives, and players.
I want to be the best quarterback. Legends live on. I want to be a legend.
Listen to every round of the NFL Draft starting tomorrow night at 7 Eastern on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The playoffs are here.
centering pass, score! Oh, what a sparkling save. And now McDavid has it again at center ice. Left circle shot, score!
16 teams made the cut.
And only one can bring home the prize.
Misfits to champions. The Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Don't miss a moment. Sirius XM 91.
And the Sirius XM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on Sirius XM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Harry Kane finishes off the game.
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Toronto, they don't have a face card. Like, they don't have an ace. Morgan's a jack. They have so many non-face cards that these guys are going to have to bullpen by committee, because the real truth is this: they got a good forward group. But if you don't defend against Boston and Florida, you're not seeing Boston or Florida in round two. That's the exam, and the test will be on this defense.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Reno Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Every weekday, 4 to 7 p.m. on TSN 1050.
Leafs won and the Boston Bruins won as we get set for the start of the third period.
Boston ending up with 17 shots in the second. And a lot of those came after the Leafs had finally taken the 1-0 lead at 13:10 of the second period.
Nice to see that not very many of the folks in the platinum seats have managed to get back from their wine spritzers. But anyway, it is what it is, right? That is all going to change next year, though, because all of those little booths are being taken out for a one large bar kind of thing like it is on this side. Now, on this side, it's fairly well full. But behind the lead bench, it's somewhat embarrassing. At any rate, puck is dropped. We're underway. Back into the Boston zone. Even strength 4-on-4 for 29 more seconds. Bruins carry to the lead line. Long shoot into the right wing corner for Pasternak, who carries around back of the net. Tried to get it out in front. Yarncrook stole it away, and Matthews starts out. He's got Morgan Riley with him. Riley had to slow up to gain possession. Now going to play it back into his own zone, and it'll be Joel Edmondson on the far side, playing it back around the boards for Riley. Riley tried to chip it ahead, but it didn't reach Marner. Marner gets it in over the line, but that's where the Bruins take charge and are now on the power play. Here's Marchand. Should be able to tell. He comes to center. The Rat brings it in over the line on the right wing side for Charlie Coyle. Pass in front of the net was knocked away. It comes back on the boards, and Marchand has it again. Chipped in along the boards, knocked down there. The Leafs pile in on top of the man. The puck comes free to Marchand, and a shot. That's up the rebound. They score. DeBrusk.
Who else?
And the Bruins have a 2-1 lead. And the power play again.
Now the Leafs overload the left wing boards, so they have 3 players on the left wing boards, and it's great as long as you come out with the puck. When you don't, that leaves players alone in front. And Jake McCabe left the front of the net to engage with his teammates on the boards. Louis DeBrusk went to the net. Edmondson was already there. And Joe, that's when, from McCabe's standpoint, somebody has got to stay in front. Ilya Samsonov stopped the first one. Just kind of batted it with his glove back to the ice onto the stick of DeBrusk. And the specialty teams war has continued to be won by the Boston Bruins.
So it is 2-1. Bruins play it to the line, but not out, and a shot in traffic, deflected just wide. And the puck comes out at center ice. Bruins working in on the right side. A rolling shot in on goal is going to be smothered there, as Heinen took a bit of a swipe at Samsonov, who gave it right back to him. Face off in the circle to the right. Marchand is going to get the assist on the goal. And the Bruins have a 2-1 lead, and Jake DeBrusk has scored his 3rd goal of the series and his 5th point.
You know, he seems to be in the middle of everything. I don't know what the officials are being called over for now. Really take a look at the Leafs scoring chance of late, unless this is a timing issue with the clock. Referee keeps looking up.
That is Francis Charon.
Yeah, there's some issue there. It was 18:15 was on the clock. It's been reset to having 18:34 to go here in the 3rd period.
Face off to the right of Samsonov. Tavares leaning in here against Charlie Coyle, and the Bruins win the draw. Played off a stick into the corner. Marchand taken to the boards by Riley. The puck goes free in along the wall to the near side. A point shot knocked away by Samsonov, and the Leafs have it in their own zone with a pass now going to Riley. Riley carries to the red line. Dished off to Marner. Marner works wide. Marner still with it with a pass into the slot area, but it was well wide. It comes back to the blue line. Lyubushkin was able to keep it in momentarily, but the Bruins get it back out at center ice and then play it back into their own end. Lori is back there now for Boston. On the right side for Pasternak. Stopped there by Marner. Puck goes back to the blue line, and Zaka will organize for Boston. 2-1 Bruins here early in the 3rd. Chipped into the Toronto zone. Samsonov plays it along the boards. Puck comes free, off the boards then for Robertson, but he couldn't catch up to it. Played back in over the line, and Liljegren just does get it out. Bruins shoot it in again. It's going to go into the corner. Played back of the net. Liljegren plays it up the boards to center, but not far enough to connect there with Järnkrok. And the Leafs have it again in their own zone, and now Robertson carries to the line and lifts it into the left wing corner. Hustles in there after it. Järnkrok trying to support. So was McCabe, but the puck comes out at center ice, and Robertson will have to go back after it, but the Bruins are able to play it into the Leaf end. Stepping out from behind his goal is Morgan Riley. The veteran gets to center. Tried to play it in there for Camp, but the puck was intercepted and shot back out at center. Dewar across the line for Camp. Camp down into the left wing corner. Along the boards, Camp with it again. Connor Dewar takes it in along the boards. They battle in there along with Boqvist. The puck comes free, but it's back to Riley. Shot was blocked before it got much past the top of the circle. And the Bruins have launched it high to the Toronto blue line. Riley going back to find his defense partner. Long left wing feed for Connor Dewar. Dewar stops up and plays it down around back of the net. Chopped into the corner far side. Maroon had it knocked away. The Leafs get it back into the slot area, but can't get a shot. Now a shot that is off a leg, banks to the far boards, but kept in. Leafs far side with McCabe. McCabe backhand in front for Matthews. Tip wide of the goal. Matthews is hauled down. Penalty coming to Boston. Shot into the chest of Swayman and held. That was a hometown crowd reaction call.
The officials may have done the quick math and said, I think we might have missed one in the second period when Matthews got hauled down. Matthews does not have the reputation of being a diver.
2 minutes. Okay.
Hooking is going to be the call. Yep. How many times can you talk about specialty teams and your best players needing to be the best players? This is the stage for it right now.
Power play brought to you by Subaru. Embrace spring weather with the Subaru all-weather drive event. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today. And the face-off is brought to you by Alpine Credits. You own your own home and need a loan, Alpine Credits can help. Get approved at alpinecredits.ca. Tavares leans in. It'll be against Charlie Coyle. And the draw won cleanly by the Leafs. It comes back to the blue line. Fed to Marner on the near side. A pass down low. Tavares just failed to redirect. Tavares in the far corner with it though. Gets it back to Riley at the blue line. Shot in traffic! Oh, knocked to the blue line there. To the line by the Leafs, and it was just wide of the goal. Now back to the near side. Kept alive now by Marner. Marner looking in front of the net. Tried to find Bertuzzi, who just barely did get it to the goal line, but not over. Here's Marner again, working into the corner. Marner tries to center to Tavares in front of the net. A shot stopped, rebound, another shot. They're banging away at it. It's still free. Covered up finally by Boston.
Morgan Riley is pointing. I don't know if he's saying that maybe a Bruin had his glove on the puck in the blue paint. If that's the case, it's a penalty shot, but we have seen nothing from the official. Tyler Bertuzzi twice, he couldn't get it elevated. He just kept slamming it into the right pad of Swayman. Wow.
Good effort by Bertuzzi. Minute 20 to go in the power play, and time being taken here by Swayman.
Well, that's okay.
To get a mask. Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah, let's give the first unit a little more breather. The one went off the knob of the stick of Swayman. Tavares chatting with Marner and Riley.
They are really keen on Austin Matthews on the power play. You know, you do not see Matthews getting that room. Let's say Ovechkin or some of the other great one-timers in the game get.
But one of the reasons is Matthews is moving around. Those other guys find that one spot and just stay there, right?
You're right. Ovi's usually out for the full 2 minutes, and that doesn't break a sweat other than winding up and trying to hammer it.
Yep. Face off to the left, and the Bruins have huddled here, but there's no rush by the officials.
I don't know
why's the delay? What's going on? Oh, the mask. I'm sorry. All right. Swayman's mask.
Well, I don't believe Samsonov got this much time. You remember late in the period?
Yep.
In game 2. When the snap was off and Samsonov started towards the bench, they made him go back, and then it looked like they just got him a different mask. But yeah, 40 seconds into the power play, that certainly gives you number one from a Leaf standpoint. They're not going to need all of a minute 20 in this power play.
Mask back on, Swayman getting set, face off to his left. Tavares will take the face-off. Bertuzzi, Matthews, Riley, Marner. But the Bruins win the face-off. Play it around the boards and cleared off the wall, and Marner couldn't trap it. It goes down into the Toronto zone. Riley going back to recover the puck. Minute 8. Riley starts out. Got it ahead for Tavares. Tavares drops the puck back, and now Matthews with speed through the neutral zone to Marner. In across the line to Tavares. Dropped it back to Riley. Far side for Matthews. Fanned on the shot. Bertuzzi couldn't get the shot away. Now Marner with it. Working back towards the blue line. Still with it. Marner dances in. Tried to center it. And it's picked off and sent out and down the ice. First unit staying out there. Here's Riley. Back in his own zone. Dropping for Marner. Marner comes out. Matthews is with him. He gets to the line and in on the left wing for Tavares. Back into the corner. Bruins are going to get there first. That's drawing a crowd. Down in along the boards. Tavares and Bertuzzi trying to keep it in. It does. Back to the point to Riley. A shot! Hammered over top of the goal. Centering feed for Matthews doesn't work. And the Bruins with 10 seconds left will get it out at center. And it is Marchand getting in across the line. Flipping it in around back of the net. Penalty expires. The Leafs unable to tie the game with the man advantage are 0 for 5 and 1 for 11 on the power play. Specialty teams are the difference thus far. The Bruins lead has come on a power play goal. Back of the net for Yarncrook. Yarncrook centers right through the blue paint. No stick there to redirect. Back of the net it goes for Holmberg. Into the corner, Yarncrook again tries to center. And it comes off a stick and over to the near boards. And the Bruins are going to bank it out at center ice. That go off a linesman. It almost was a perfect pass. And it looked like it was just an icing attempt. Now here's Robertson getting it ahead for McCabe. Shot deflects into the corner. Back of the net, grabbed off by Frederick. He plays it on the boards, cut off by the Leafs. Pontus Holmberg. Bad pass in front of the net, but he gains possession again. Holmberg along the boards, trying to get it as Yarncrook. Yarncrook back into the corner, it comes off a stick, bounces into the slot, and a shot. Pad save, and a good one made there by Swayman. Cleared out at center ice. Long shoot in, goes down on goaltender Samsonov. The Leafs have been the better team 5-on-5. But it has been the power play and penalty kill that has really hurt them. Right wing side now for Brandon Carlo. A long shot stopped by Samsonov, and he had to stop a rebound as well. Puck in the corner, now dug out by Reeves. Played up on the left wing for Morgan Riley. He'll get to center, chipping it in. Hustling in there after it is Connor Dewar. Following up on the play was David Camp, who was tripped up. The puck goes back to the net. Reeves hovering around in front of the net, but they can't get him the puck. And the Bruins will take it up on the boards and get it out. Played off the boards and into the Toronto end by Maroon. Riley, far side, played up by Labushkin. Grabbed off by Marner. Fed in for Nyes. He has the Leaf goal. Nyes couldn't come up with it. Bruins get it back out at center, and Coyle will get it to center, and Marchand sends it in over the line. Marchand centers in front of the net. Good play by Nyes to knock down Coyle right in the slot. Bruins keep it in at the point with a shot deflected in on goal, and it's knocked away by Samsonov. Coyle Far boards gobbled up there by Tavares. Nice move to gain center. Tavares hits the line. Left wing side for Marner. Marner trying to keep it in, but has it knocked out at center ice. And the Bruins play it down into the Toronto end. 11:15 to go, third period. The boys need a goal here. Nyes for Domi. Back to the right wing side for Matthews. That bounced away. Pasternak played it back. Matthews almost stripped it away from the defenseman, but it's cleared to center ice, and DeBrusque shoots it into the Toronto end. Liljegren reversing the puck, but cut off by Zacha. Back to the point, long shot blocked by Edmondson. Edmondson playing it high to center ice. Domi's not going to be able to get to it. Bruins bring it right back in on the right side. Pasternak in against the boards, was knocked down. Puck is cleared to the line, but not out. Back into the slot area. Zacha for Pasternak in front. Wired over top of the goal. It bounces onto the roof of the net. And Samsonov has got a glove on it. That was a little dangerous.
But the Bruins continue to look much more dangerous here in the second half of the game. Once the Leafs took the lead, Boston has responded, and the Leafs have yet to match them.
2-1 Bruins. You're listening. Hey, insiders. It's Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs here. And holy Mackinac, another great night here on TSI. First and foremost, Mike wanted me to thank you all for being here and helping create this amazing community that we have here at Toronto Sports Insider. Just by listening to this message, you are a part of something very, very special. Mike has asked me to help in his goal of making a difference to Sick Kids Hospital with this great group of Toronto sports fans. Now, Sick Kids Hospital is very near and dear to my heart. My son Sean was diagnosed with leukemia when he was just a year old, and he's 30-some-odd years of age now and a big strapping lad because of their magic that they work at Sick Kids. Toronto Sports Insider is donating 100% of the channel's revenue through the Leafs 2024 Stanley Cup Playoffs run. What an amazing start you have had in Game 1. Over $150 in Super Chat donations, 4 new Insider members, and almost 34,000 views. Now's the time for this community of Leaf fans to make a real-world difference together throughout the rest of this playoff run. Now, the best way for us to increase the amount of the donation is to please share the link to Toronto Sports Insider right here on YouTube to bring more Leaf fans into this amazing community. Changing the world, one insider at a time. We'll see you in the chat. And holy Mackinac, go Leafs, go. At 107 of this period. Frederick leans in against Matthews. Well, he did until he got waved out. Or, yep, he did get waved out. Danton Heinen will move in. Domi and Bertuzzi with Matthews. And Matthews won the draw. Round back of the net. He's done just about everything here tonight, hasn't he? Except score. And he's had his chances there, including and an icing call coming here against Boston.
All right,
ringing one off the crossbar.
I say, since it worked with the Leafs being able to get on the board, mentioning the shutout streak.
Yes.
Let's throw this one out. Last year, the Leafs on home ice, 1-5. Under this current group with Marner, Matthews, Nylander, Riley, they're 9-17.
All right.
26 home games. That's got to change.
Face off to the right in the Boston zone. Knock on a little wood, see if that doesn't work. Back to the blue line, it comes to Riley. Now to Liljegren. Doesn't shoot it. One-timer from the side by Domi was knocked away by Swayman. Back of the net it goes. Cleared along the boards. Riley trying to pinch. He does to keep it in. Down into the corner for Matthews. Now to Bertuzzi. Back of the net. Domi trying to chip it. It comes back to the blue line. Liljegren. His shot blocked. And the Bruins with Van Riemsdyk carrying down on the left wing side. Off the goal post. rang it off the iron in behind Samsonov. Oh, and this crowd taking a big breath. James Van Riemsdyk, back of the net, cleared along the boards out at center. Marner steps away to the line, lifts it into the left wing corner for Nyes. Nyes carries his man into the corner, played off the boards, and it's knocked out at center ice by Boston. Benoit ahead for Bertuzzi, across the line for Marner. Marner on the right wing side with Tavares going to the front of the net. And Tavares is hauled down as the puck deflects up into the screen and out of play.
Well, you keep waiting for some sort of offensive explosion from the Leafs, don't you? You go back to Game 4 in Tampa. They were down 4, went into the third period, scored 3 to tie it, went on to win it. They need only 2 here, but time now becoming a factor.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
And now it's time for our Subaru weather report. So, Harold, what's in...
Go, Leafs, go! Go, Leafs, go! Go, Leafs, go! Come on, guys. I can't hear it, but I can see it in the chat. Spam that chat with Go, Leafs, go! GLG. Hit those emojis if you got them as a member. 99 cents a month. Come on, it's nothing. Cheaper than a cup of coffee. Less than a loony. Go, Leafs, go! Let's fire up that chat. See you guys in a minute.
Sewer inspection. For more essential tips, visit enbridgegas.com/safety.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I just helped Tom with a business loan. He needed to soup up his mechanic shop. Not to brag, but I once modified a car to match my ultra speed. It went so fast, it broke the speed of sound. At least no one was inside. I hope no one was inside. I guess I'll just stick to approving business loans.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Face off in the Bruins zone to the left of Jeremy Swayman, who has been outstanding for Boston. Gave up just the 1 goal in Game 1. He's given up just 1 goal here in his second start, this being Game 3.
But Boston has had the advantage when it's come to odd man rushes, haven't they? Samsonov has stopped a couple, and James Van Riemsdyk just rang one off the post.
9:11 to go in the third. Draw one by Boston, rung around the boards. It banks out at center, and Riley has to wait for teammates and then shoots it right back in again. Time on the far side, cut off there by McCabe. Played into the corner for Domi. Domi works down back into the corner. Punches it around for Bertuzzi. Back to Domi. Looking in front for Matthews, but it comes back to Riley at the near point. He's going to send it back from whence it came. Domi in the far corner to Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi works back. Matthews is hovering around in front of the net. The shot went off a glove, a centering pass. Scores! Morgan Riley sending it to the net. And Bertuzzi chipping it home.
What a play by Morgan Riley. The perfect slap pass from the top of the left wing circle towards the far post as he spots Bertuzzi coming. And it does look like Bertuzzi gets a piece of it, doesn't it, Joe? There were lots of bodies in front.
And the way he celebrated.
Yeah, I think it goes off his skate, then off the Boston defenseman, Lindholm, and into the net. Yeah, it's a double deflection. But Boston, some reason, got very passive in defending against the Matthews line. They allowed the Leafs to control the boards. And eventually...
There's a loose puck in front of the goal again! Oh, and it was knocked wide as the Bruins coughed it up at the side of their goal. They're giving the goal, I believe, to Morgan Riley, but I think that's going to be changed, Jimmy. I agree with you. Back of the Toronto goal. Edmondson forces it wide. Centering pass, scores! Brad Marchand quiets the crowd at Scotiabank Arena, and the Bruins have the lead again.
Timothy Liljegren coming back into the Leafs zone. Lost the battle behind the net, and then Edmondson went back to help out. Matthews was there, rattled off some skates, then out to Marchand in the circle, and very quickly, and that was after Max Domi. After the Bruins turned the puck over at the side of their own net. Domi couldn't put it in. The Boston Bruins come back. Marchand is first of this series.
Wow. Slipped back down into the Toronto zone. 8:04 to play. Maroon couldn't come up with it. Turning with it is Robertson. Got it ahead and up on the wing. It is kicked in. Apparently not. I thought Riley made contact with it. Linesman says no, and an icing call against Toronto.
Well, the first half of this game, I think you're so thrilled to see the way the Leafs were playing. Tight to the vest. They didn't give up much in the way of scoring opportunities. And it seemed the turning point for the game for them was scoring the first goal, because it was the Bruins that then forced the Leafs to turn the puck over.
Puck goes back to the point. Played around back of the net. And it is Bertuzzi as the centering pass knocked away by the Leafs and carried to center ice by Nick Robertson. Robertson lays it towards the net. Swayman playing it back up on the boards, and the Bruins will get it out at center ice and play it down into the Toronto end. So it was the double deflection, as we thought. Bertuzzi off the shin pad of the Bruin defender and into the net. But the quick response 18 seconds later, and it is Boston with the lead. Now a centering pass in front of the goal, deflected by the stick of Swayman to the blue line. Kept in by Benoit. Deflection in front of the net by Tavares, went just wide. Bruins get it out, and a big hit there by McCabe on Pasternak.
Swayman didn't intercept that pass. Joe Mitch Marner's got an empty net.
Played up on the wing and kicked into the zone by Marner. Leafs are changing. 6:50 to play. Played in over the line. Back of the net goes Lyubushkin. Played up on the boards but didn't get it out past Coyle. Coyle sends it back of the net. Edmondson into the corner. Centering pass for Marchand. Back to the point. Traffic jam. Where's the puck? Underneath Samsonov. And he will cover up and stop play. Riley and Domi draw the assists on the Leaf goal to tie. Marchand from Danton Heinen. And the Bruins have their second lead of the game.
6:26 to go, but one thing you notice around the Bruins net, Joe, I mean, they get the break on the Bertuzzi one, but you have to work to get any kind of chance between the hash marks.
Draw to the left of Samsonov. Coyle facing off with David Camp, and Camp won the draw cleanly. Benoit circles out of the corner, got it ahead. Did he get? Nope, he did get it off Connor Dewar's stick, so there is no icing. Ryan Reeves has not taken a shift in a while. Out come the Bruins at center ice. Played in over the line and into the corner for Morgan Geekie. A hit there by Benoit. The puck goes free, though, and grabbed off by Trent Frederick. Frederick works back to the blue line and sends it back to the net. Geekie couldn't settle it down. Leafs do not counter. Now they got Geekie in front of the net all by himself, but no one could get him the puck as Van Riemsdyk didn't see him. Puck in the Toronto zone up against the boards. Riley trying to chip it along, or at least Benoit trying to chip it along. Camp couldn't come up with it. Now against the boards, Yarncrook gets it freed up, and the Leafs get it back into the corner from Dewar, around on the boards, and instead of just getting it out, they're now heading back in their own zone. Played off the boards to the line, but not out. Kept in by Boston. Finally, some skating room, and around back of the net now is David Camp, who plays it back of the net again. Up on the wing, and now they're back into the Hornets' nest. Back to the point it comes. A pass in on goal, and it's smothered by Samsonov. Just trying to get it out and getting a change didn't seem to be anywhere in the cards.
And it's the opposite of what we saw the first half of the game, where the Leafs may be feeling that they've got to create offense of their own end up giving the Bruins offense at the other end. Unfortunately, the Boston Bruins don't make them pay again.
It is a 3-2 Boston lead. 5:08 left. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
What? Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
Big NBA playoff doubleheader tonight. Sirius XM NBA Radio with the play.
Go, Leafs, go! Go, Leafs, go! Go, Leafs, go! Come on, guys. I can't hear it, but I can see it in the chat. Spam that chat with Go, Leafs, go! GLG. Hit those emojis if you got them as a member. 99 cents a month. Come on, it's nothing. Cheaper than a cup of coffee. Less than a loony. Go, Leafs, go! Let's fire up that chat. See you guys in a minute. Hey Insiders, it's playoff time. Go Leafs go. This is what we've been waiting for all season long. Make sure you hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well. Turn on that little bell so you get notified every single time we go live here on Toronto Sports Insider. Blue Jays games, Maple Leafs games, every single one of them. Go Leafs go. Let's get back to the action. Let's see what our buds got.
Assets, we're looking for those opportunities to maybe use some of those assets to set us up at a higher level going forward.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Face-off is in the circle to the left of Ilya Samsonov. And the draw won by Toronto. Played to the left wing side for Marner. He turns back and starts up ice. To center. He'll backhand it, but didn't get it elevated enough. DeBrusk stopped it and gets it out. And now Zacha trying to play it back and play it ahead. It goes to Pasternak. Broken up by Morgan Riley. Round back of the net for McCabe. Off the boards for Marner. Tried to settle it down but failed and now does get it ahead. Nyes works into the right wing corner. Works down in along the end boards. Comes up with the puck but couldn't get it in front. But now Tavares centers in front. Marner trying to center and looks for a man. Back to the point it goes to Riley. Riley to Marner. Marner stretching things out with a pass. That hit Riley. Riley tried to send it to the front of the net and it's brought back by the Bruins and hammered off the wall and sent down into the Toronto zone. 4:15 to play, third period. Left wing side for Riley. And this is where this crowd could really be a big factor. As Riley stumbles after a loose puck and is pressured now by Geekie. The puck along the boards for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi back of the net for McCabe. McCabe stops up but is into a pressure situation from Charlie Coyle. Played out at center for Domi. Back to Matthews. Matthews launches it into the far corner. Bertuzzi in pursuit. Played to the line and trapped by the Leafs Liljegren. Into the corner on the half boards. A centering pass for Matthews by Domi didn't connect. Down the boards, Edmondson keeping it in. Bertuzzi can't keep it, but it comes back to Liljegren. To the point on the far side. Domi with a shot. Deflected in front. Swayman still doesn't know where it is, but to his benefit, it's up into the screen and out of play.
And the clock hits us down to 3:25 to go here in regulation. One thing you talk about, the series that the Leafs have had against Boston, they haven't had an overtime game since Game 7 of the first of the 3 times they met in the playoffs. Lead games 4 and 7, and that series went to overtime. We've now gone 16 games plus without going to extra time.
Draw to the left is won by the Bruins. They're going to carry it out at center, and they'll flip it down into the Toronto zone. Lilligren hustles down after the puck to get it to McCabe. He had it stripped away. Yarncrook trying to dig it free, but the Bruins trying to pin it in against the boards, and they've been successful until it dug free by the Leafs and fed ahead. Yarncrook with a long lead pass. Here's Robertson in with a shot. Oh, and a good glove save. Knocking it away there was Swayman. Leafs come away with the puck. Yarncrook in the corner. Left it there for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg trying to one-hand it out in front. Rolled it through the goal crease. No one could get a stick on it. Centering pass comes back to the point. Near side for Edmondson. Can't shoot it at the net. Sends it back to the goal. Holmberg had to chase it down. Puck on the boards and backhanded into the corner by Robertson. Robertson battles for it. Kept alive and sent down along the boards. Robertson coming out of the corner. Can't get a shot. Backhands in for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg along the boards. Matthews back to the point. Labushkin holds. Works to the near side. On the wall too far for Marner. Down into the corner. Marner trying to chip it in front. Comes free on the left wing side. Holmberg is still there as it goes to Matthews. Coming out of the goal is Samsonov. And the puck is cleared to center ice. 2 minutes to go. Leafs with 6 attackers. Morgan Riley. Coming out. We need this crowd on its feet. It's around the boards to the near side. Into the Boston zone it goes. Puck comes free, centered in front. Shot, stop, rebound, pounding away. Simon down, and he's got it under his glove.
I was going to say the Leafs need a bounce, but they got one on the second goal. Jeremy Swayman has been brilliant. Stopped 31 of 33. No chance on the Nyes goal. No chance on the double redirection goal. Kelly Yarncrook had a great opportunity going to the net. He couldn't get that elevated either.
Face off in the Boston zone. Draw one by Toronto. Riley to the far side for Marner. Marner with a wrist shot that didn't make it through. Bruins send it out and down the ice, and this will be icing as Riley gets back.
Well, they haven't done it on the power play. This is still considered special teams, isn't it? 6-on-5 late in the game, and the big boys have an opportunity still to at least extend this game and get it to overtime.
Face off to the right of Jeremy Swayman. It's an amazing situation. Everybody is very firmly in their seats. God almighty. Now here are the Leafs getting it back to the point. Riley to the right wing side to Marner. Down into the corner. Tavares sweeping it in front. Bouncing, blocked, and a high stick makes contact. Face off in the Boston zone.
1:19 to go.
Face off to the left of Swayman. The draw scrummed into the corner. Losing his stick was Domi, actually breaking it. So now the Leafs are really in a bit of a bind here. The puck comes free, and Tavares is going to take a penalty. It's shot to the empty net and will hit the goal post, but it won't matter. 1:04 to go, and Tavares takes a holding penalty. And the Bruins are going to have a power play for the final 1:04.
This is desperation. I think Tavares already knew the situation where Max Domi was on the ice but without a stick. And Tavares, knowing the Leafs had nobody on that side of the ice, he doesn't even telegraph this. He just grabs a hold of McAvoy. 1:04 to go. Now the Leafs, if they can still get the puck control it to get it out into the Boston zone. Samsonov will still go back to make it 5-on-5. But even with that, they won't have John Tavares on the ice for it. And the Bruins have called the timeout here.
I'm sorry, but if you came to the game tonight and with a face-off with the goalie out and you weren't on your feet in this building, that's an embarrassment. And that, I just cannot believe that that's what went on here. No wonder they don't win on home ice, because there is no home ice advantage. I'm really upset by that, Jimmy. I'm sorry. But that's just embarrassing.
Well, I mean, I know what you're saying. I don't know.
That's the Toronto audience, right?
Yeah, but I still don't know if we can pin it on the crowd.
No.
I
understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that. And that's fair. Really be an impactful group. Face-off will be in the Toronto zone to the left of Samsonov. And the draw knocked back to the blue line. McAvoy keeps it in, and if they play keep away here, they're going to put this one to bed. Pasternak around back of the net. Coyle. Pass intercepted, but the Leafs break it out. Morgan Riley on to Matthews. Matthews across the line, but he had it knocked away. Samsonov has gone to the bench. The empty net is there, but they hit the side of the goal. 40 seconds. Oh, and a chance there. I mean, really. The Leafs got taken down by Marchand, who ends up scoring into the empty net.
That was Bertuzzi. So, you know one thing, Brad Marchand has won this. He's won this game over Tyler Bertuzzi. They got caught up together on Boston's first goal, which was a distraction for the Leafs, and now Marchand has 2 goals here in the third period. And finally, people, Joe, are standing.
Yeah, they're on their way out.
I'm not sure what the delay is here. But you certainly could have called interference on Marchand as Bertuzzi tried to chip it past him to get it back up ice.
So we can look forward to Game 4 on Saturday night. 7 o'clock start, and the Bruins will have a 2-1 lead in the best of 7. And they control the face-off and take it back into their own end with a half minute to go in the game. Played down in along the boards and into the Leaf zone. Edmondson will play it around back of the net. And the final seconds will tick down in this one. Camp gets it down into the Boston zone. Around the boards it'll come, and the Bruins will get it out at center ice and flip it to the Leaf blue line. And the final seconds will tick down in a 4-2 Boston victory against Toronto in game number 3.
I would say for the first half of the game, the Leafs might have played as smart and as physical a game as I've seen them play in years in the playoffs. They score first, everything going. The Trent Frederick goal, in my opinion, turned the game. Turned the game on a head. Bruins all of a sudden had some jump. Mouths were watering and took it to the Leafs the rest of the way, and we're going to talk about the same things. The best players not being the best players, the power play failing them, the penalty kill failing them. And when it's all said and done, again, just 2 goals in a single game. And they had gone, on a 8-9 game run of 2 goals or less in the playoffs. They broke that streak with the 3-2 win in Boston, but they're right back into it here as the Bruins have taken a 2-1 lead with a 4-2 win tonight.
Postgame show coming your way. We invite you to join us Saturday for Game 4. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
It's NFL Draft Week, and Sports Grid Radio is the only channel talking about the impact every pick has on the sports books. How many trades and how many players drafted at each position.
I don't think they're going to get to 10 when it comes to offensive linemen taken in the first round.
We'll track all the picks as they come off the board and update the live information.
What's up, insiders? That's a tough one. I am happy. I am happy because we have passed 16,000 subscribers. Thank you all, each and every one, even the Boston fans that have subscribed. I hate to say it, but welcome. What a game! What a game by the refs. I am really having a hard time with this, guys. This is really frustrating. The Leafs have not played great by any stretch of the imagination, other than at times they have looked good, at least in my opinion. But anyways, I'm not here to talk about the post-game. I'll let the guys run there while the post-game runs. Thank you all for 16,000 subscribers. Time to pop this bad boy. I'm going to mute, let the audio run, and let's pop some bottles here. Popping bottles on the ice. Go Leafs, go! Again, thank you all, and this is good. We're doing a big thing here with Sick Kids. This is good. We're going to show Sick Kids and we're going to show Toronto and the world what a community can do out of nothing. Out of absolutely nothing. Just some great crazy guy and a random idea, and a bunch of people that love the same thing, Toronto sports. And tonight, the Maple Leafs, we go down. But hey, back to the post game. Thank you all.
Break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on SiriusXM FC. Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most. The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory. Jude Bellingham's driving scores! And one performance can turn a star into an immortal. Harry Kane finishes off the game. It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate.
Well, I mean, since we're still in commercial and I've got it open, we might as well pop it right here on the air. And I don't want to hit the green screen here, but hey, TSI Allison, cheers, babe. Nice work tonight. I love you. I miss you. We'll see you soon. Great work down there. Thank you for doing all that stuff. And here we go. Boom! There it is. All right. Cheers to 16K, everybody. Gonna pour this one into TSI Allison's favorite mug, which here from our trip to Montana and Yellowstone. Very cool. Miss you, Grandma. Here we go with the postgame and the dogs. Oh, Lord, the dogs are down. Look out.
Things right, but at the key moments, it didn't work.
No, you're talking to Frankie. That I thought in recent memory, the first half of the game was as physical and as smart defensively as I've seen this Leaf team play.
Yep.
And then what happens? They score the first goal. And you think, boy, they're rolling now. I mean, they've got him. And then the Trent Frederick goal flipped the game on its side.
It did.
And then all of a sudden you could see Boston got some life out of it, some confidence, and we're in on the forecheck more. And, it was just, it's one of those, you saw it with Connor Hellebuck last night when he got caught out behind his own net. Colorado scored. At this time of year, very seldom can you get away with that. I know Logan Thompson did in Vegas, giving up a late goal, but then he shut the door the rest of the way. But how that goal was scored so easily, just a wrist shot coming down the left wing boards.
Yeah.
Short side. It seemed to stun the Leafs a bit because Samsonov had made some big stops before that. But unfortunately for the Leafs, they don't get it the other way. They haven't scored that awful-looking goal from a goaltender standpoint the other way. And when you get into these games that are 2-1 and 3-2, those stand out just as much as specialty teams, which I'm sure we're going to cover too.
Well, and you can't even count on those goals happening because you have Swayman in net, or you have last year's Vezina winner in net. Like those are just not going to be available to you. And the thing about Samsonov, it's like you mentioned, a couple big saves in that game. Like I think about the JVR breakaway. And I'm like, that's the one. That's the one that you make that huge save at the right time, the timely one, gives your team a chance now. They got to get it done offensively. But the special teams comes into play, and the Leafs go 0 for 5 on the power play. And they continually lose the special teams battle. They give up one PK goal to Jake DeBrusk, and it's like 3 guys in the corner, which is by design. But in that situation, they get burned on it and, again, lose the special teams battle.
Well, see, even in the old days, when I played, when a defenseman would go to block a shot, you're going to say, that's fine. Just make sure you block it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the same thing when flooding the left wing boards on that play. You're going to send 3 guys over. You better win it.
Yeah.
Because it's an odd man situation in front of your own net, and that's eventually what happens. That DeBrusk is the one that bangs it in.
I want to ask you something. Did you notice that on the Marchand goal, Samsonov didn't have his stick? Did you see that?
No.
Like as Liljegren went back for that puck, there was someone on him, and Samsonov's stick gets knocked out of his hand. So I just literally just on the screen right now, they just showed it. We rewatched the goal. I had just saw it for the first time. Samsonov has no stick on that goal. How much would that affect that? Because I know it goes high on the short side. Like just having your stick versus not having your stick as a goalie. Is there like a push? Is it a comfort thing? What is it?
I don't think from that range. I think more so if say it was points out, looking through screens and everything else, trying to get more equipment in the right position. I don't think from where the puck went, you know, you're kind of saying like maybe if it goes 5-hole along the ice.
Yeah.
Although most guys don't butterfly in that position, should have been a huge issue. But when you talk about maybe what he'd been able to do, which is maybe try to get the stick out to try to keep the pass from coming out from down low.
Yeah.
Jeremy Swayman made a play in the third period. I think it was Pontus Holmberg. Was going to throw it across, and I think it was Mitch Marner that was open on the other side. And Swayman did the perfect intercept on a poke check pass.
The snake. I called it. Yeah. I said, Jimmy, that's the snake right there. He gave it the snake.
So I guess Frankie, to answer your question, if Samsonov could have done that with his stick, then you say it would have been a difference. But I don't know if
that wasn't
below
available.
The goal line
No, that wasn't available to him anyways. But I don't know. Like they just reshowed the Frederick goal again. It's like that can't go in. Outside the dots, posting in on the short side. I don't care. That's non-negotiable, Jimmy. That can't go in.
Yeah. And that's how I don't know if you saw Mason Marchman, almost identical, left wing side along the boards, threw it to the net, and got Dallas briefly back into the game against Vegas, but. Then Logan Thompson was able to shut the door the rest of the way. And you know what? Where it is acceptable, where you can say, well, it happens sometimes, is if the Leafs come back and win it 2-1. And you say, boy, that's great goaltending. You give up that goal, but then you shut the door the rest of the way. When you don't, and then a couple more go in, then everybody starts to question which are good goals, which one, what's a bad rebound. And everything sort of gets piled up.
But I think from that Frederick goal on, not just the goal, but all that stuff with Marchand and Bertuzzi, everybody was questioning what's going on. And clearly the Bruins had the code on what they could get away with because they kept pushing the button.
Well, and you'd have to say tonight, Brad Marchand won that battle.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He was the distraction on the Frederick goal. Bertuzzi ends up taking a roughing penalty along the boards when the Leafs had a power play on Charlie Coyle.
It's a high hit on Charlie Coyle, yeah. Listen, I get, and even the McAvoy on Matthews, I mean, I don't know what you were saying during the broadcast, but given the way things had been officiated, that's a penalty. It's a penalty all day.
Yeah.
But it's
and then I thought when they did give McAvoy the roughing penalty, you kind of went, really?
No.
Like he got away with
that's a good point because he hits Dewar. And the referee didn't have a problem with the hit, but he gave him a little extra. Like, he gave him a forearm shiver when they got to the ice, and that's where he called. It's almost like he had to call that a roughing because he gave him a little bit extra.
Yeah, it's like we've given you 2.5 calls already. Well, but at the time, the power plays were 3-1 Toronto. And from an official standpoint, they doesn't want to be, well, if it gets to 4-1 or 5-1, then everybody's going to be after us. that it's not evenly officiated.
Like they weren't anyway.
Well, then don't commit the infractions. Then I don't know what to tell you. If you commit the infractions, you should get a penalty. Like,
no.
But that's 100% how I read that situation. It's Toronto just had too many power plays in a row, and unless it's blatantly obvious or an automatic penalty, it's not getting called right now.
But 3-1 in power plays isn't insurmountable. I mean,
no kidding.
That's just what happened.
But I mean that makes it 4-1 if you call it.
Well,
and then the Leafs were up 1-0 still, correct? At that point, it was right before the.
And to be fair, like the Leafs at that point were not scoring on the power plays, so it does feel like. I don't know how you feel about this, but when you're getting all the power plays and you waste the opportunities, I get the sense that the referees are like, yeah, I'm not giving you another one.
You had your chance.
You had your
Well,
you had your chance.
And the worst thing, and this happens so many times for a lot of teams, but I find especially with the Leafs, their best power play was the first one. They moved the puck well. They had some opportunities.
Jimmy hated that one, by the way.
I like the one in the third where they had in the first 40 seconds before Swayman's mask created a 1.5-minute delay. They had 4 opportunities right in front of them.
Yeah, well, I thought they moved the puck with authority in the first one.
I agree. And they retrieved it. Yeah. That's what stuck out to me. It was like they were bigger guys playing like a little more bully style, getting the puck back. That's how I felt about the first power play.
But where was the clear-cut opportunity?
Never happened, Jimmy. Thanks for stealing my material. But I won't even charge you.
But having said that, I thought it got worse as the game went on. I know, and then the second and the third. They have trouble getting the zone. That you give up the shorthanded breakaways to Zaka.
But Frankie's telling me that they funnel the breakout on the left side.
Well, okay, so and Toronto found a way to kind of break this, but Boston was making sure that once the drop pass happens, the puck doesn't go from side to side in the neutral zone. It was like they would just stay on one side of the ice and say, go enter there. We'll give it to you. Now we're going to go all 4 guys on that side. And anytime Toronto kind of broke that, it felt like they were able to gain a little bit of a possession in the offensive zone. But we can talk about Samsonov. We can talk about the discipline. We can talk about all these things. But 9 out of their last 10 playoff games, they have scored 2 goals or fewer. And that is the main issue with the team right now.
Yeah, I think you got to go back to, is it not Game 4 against Tampa? That's when they scored 3 in the third period to tie it, and won it in.
So was that the Kerfoot overtime goal, or he scored a big goal in that game?
Yeah, Kerfoot. That was Game 4, and Morgan Riley in Game 3.
Right,
scored on the wrist shot off the board. So, I mean that's how far back you have to go. And in that game, they scored 3 in a period.
But that's the main issue.
Able to come up.
That's the main issue.
But where does it come from? Is it all in the power play, or does it come
it has
from
to be.
elsewhere?
You get 5 opportunities with those players on the ice. And Jimmy, to your point, they actually caught a fortunate bounce because they had a 40-second shift where Swayman's mask gets knocked off.
Yeah.
We get a 2-minute delay, so that keeps them back on the ice for the next minute 20. So it's not like
very effective.
But it's not like they didn't have their opportunities. They absolutely had plenty of opportunities. And you even think about Boston coming into tonight. Grzelcyk was out, Peak was out. So they had to dip into now. Now they've used 8 defensemen, right? Because they had to bring in, who'd they bring in? Lorai?
Witherspoon.
And they brought in Witherspoon.
Yep.
So now they're into their organizational 7th and 8th. Now imagine if Toronto had to dip into their 7th and 8th. Like, I don't know. There would be a cooked-in excuse.
That's Brody and Gio.
Sure. But there would be a little bit of a cooked-in excuse if it happened here. I don't think there's any excuses happening there. Obviously not, because they won the game. But Toronto wasn't able to expose that either.
But there is enough good there, especially the first half of that game, to realize that in the next game, if they could just do that and a bit more, they wouldn't be losing.
Yeah, but you can go back to other series in the past where Eddie Belfour, Curtis Joseph, they were the difference over Patrick Lalane. Mm-hmm. As much as there were some playoffs going in where they've got Alfredson going, they've got Martin Howe. These got these guys that are flying, and the difference was Patrick Lalane had those moments where he would give up those goals, and that was the series. That was enough, and then you'd have Cujo or Eddie Belfour stand on their head.
Well,
and that's something that I think gets into your head through a series where if you're Boston, you're going, boy, okay, it was a close game. We got down 1. We got it right back.
I wonder how they think now. Like, I wonder how Boston thinks when the game is going the way it is, where Toronto's physical, they're carrying the play. There's a lot of energy in the building. It seems like Boston. Remember, Jimmy, we were talking at one point during the second intermission, like Boston looked a little tired, a little lethargic, right? Like they got caught on some long shifts. But I wonder how they feel as a group on the bench in the dressing room if they kind of know that with one shot, it can change everything for them.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but after the goal, somebody lets go a wrist shot from the red line, and Samsonov off his blocker, but it went way up in the air. Lyubushkin had no idea where it was, and it landed in this, and that could have been disastrous. And I think there was the goal followed by that. I mean, that's deliberately shot from center ice to say, have we rattled him?
All right.
And Samsonov, I thought, nonchalanted it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you know, when I'm sure you've played in front of enough guys that have had their struggles where you're saying, oh, no, we can't give up a shot, or we've got to be careful. And like we said, for Samsonov, it was really two halves, much like Game 2. With the first period, you worried about him, and he was great the rest of the way. He carried that into this game up until the Frederick goal, and then you saw those cracks again. So
you just want a little bit more, Ralphie. I feel like you just want a little bit more. You get the JVR breakaway save, get a couple other ones, but you're just, I don't know, you're left with wanting just a little bit more in that situation, looking back at the game.
I think there's two sides of it. You see Vasilevsky and Bobrovsky last night, which was probably the goaltending clinic in the last 50 years. I don't think I've ever seen goaltending that good at both ends that got a game to overtime. Sometimes you need those games where you get the spectacular save that should have gone in. Sometimes you need those games where don't give up the bad one. Just don't give up that one that's got a little odor to it at the wrong time that can change the game. And I think that was kind of the scenario late. And after he'd made some spectacular stops, that was the one where you go, no, not in a 1-0 game in the second period.
Yeah. Well, it was noticeable in terms of a dip. The Marchand goal that wins the game, the 3-2 goal comes 28 seconds after the Leafs tie it. Just on a dump it. Dump it in a bad bounce. As Edmondson tried to clear it, it went off somebody's skate. Was it Matthews?
Went off Matthews' skate. Goes to Danton Heinen. He turns around, whips it right to Brad Marchand.
Boom.
And Max Domi was anticipating the puck going along the wall, so he wasn't, in the hash mark area. So I can understand, that's one I don't like to say, Jimmy. I don't like to sit on the fence and say, oh, it's unfortunate. But, that's one of those ones that it is unfortunate. That is just a bad bounce in a playoff game, and ultimately that's the deciding goal, which is, it's terrible.
Although the Bertuzzi goal was a good bounce.
You did get a bounce.
So
that's a good point.
It's almost like, but it's almost.
Hey, what do we call that? Punch, counter punch.
That's right. Yeah.
But you know what it is, though? It was almost like the hockey gods were going, just kidding.
Yeah.
We
did a quick audit. We did an audit. We don't know where that went. So there you go.
They got all the people.
You want your carbon rebate? You're not getting your carbon rebate.
You're gonna have to wait for that. Yeah.
Those people outside still in that Maple Leaf Square. Okay, now let's even it up. We're running out of time.
Ralphie, thanks for hanging around.
All right, boys. Let's hope this is just something we'll look back on and laugh at in a couple of months when we're
kind of like you and mine's playing careers.
Well, yours was better than mine.
Well, we look back and laugh at it.
Although I did have one more shutout. than you.
Wow, that's
you may have had more assists some years too.
Thanks, boys.
Boston wins at 4-2. This is Leafs Game Night live from Scotiabank Arena on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
A lone wolf, a survivalist, an investigator. Justin Hartley. Let's get you all in the CTV series that will leave you breathless. Don't.
Hey, insiders! It's Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs here. And holy Mackinac, another great night here on TSI. First and foremost, Mike wanted me to thank you all for being here and helping create this amazing community that we have here at Toronto Sports Insider. Just by listening to this message, you are a part of something very, very special. Mike has asked me to help in his goal of making a difference to Sick Kids Hospital with this great group of Toronto sports fans. Now, Sick Kids Hospital is very near and dear to my heart. My son Sean was diagnosed with leukemia when he was just a year old, and he's 30-some-odd years of age now and a big strapping lad because of their magic that they work at Sick Kids. Toronto Sports Insider is donating 100% of the channel's revenue through the Leafs 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs run. What an amazing start you have had in Game 1. Over $150 in Super Chat donations, 4 new Insider members, and almost 34,000 views. Now's the time for this community together throughout the rest of this playoff run. Now, the best way for us to increase the amount of the donation is to please share the link to Toronto Sports Insider right here on YouTube to bring more Leaf fans into this amazing community. Changing the world, one insider at a time.
Momentary lapses, you just have to be more dialed.
What can the power play do to break through moving forward?
I mean, I think we're doing an okay job. The puck's not going in, which is frustrating, but there's chances coming. We're trying to focus on our structure, and I think our entries have been good. We're trying to get pucks to the net, trying to create rebounds and traffic, and again, obviously it's all about results, but there's stuff going on around there. That's good, and it's just a matter of getting the puck across the line.
Morgan, is there a key to generating more 5-on-5?
I don't know if there's a key to it. I think just playing within structure. On a night like tonight, I thought both teams didn't really have a ton going on, and I think that's just kind of playoff hockey at times. You want to be structured defensively. Obviously, they're doing a good job defensively and in the neutral zone, trying to clog it up, and we're trying to do the same. So. I think you just got to capitalize on your chances. I don't think there's going to be an abundance of ozone time where you're rolling around and really controlling the play. Both teams are going back and forth and playing hard and trying to be responsible defensively.
How important is a player like Tyler Bertuzzi in a series like this where you need those greasy goals?
Everybody's important. There's no one player that's more important than the next. Everyone's out there trying to contribute, and I think sometimes players this time of year have a tendency to step outside of themselves and do a little bit of extra, and over the course of a series or a playoff run, you need everybody to kind of take that on and do that. And with Bert, he seems to enjoy these intense games that can be physical, and it's great to see, but again, it's on everybody to rise to the occasion and play that way.
What's the challenge of playing a guy like Brad Marchand as an expert in the dark arts of playoff hockey?
I don't know if there's challenges. He's a good player. He competes, and that's about the extent of it. There's lots of guys over there that are competitors and good players. So, there's not one guy over there that we're talking about any more than the rest.
When it's all said and done, Jimmy, and we completely digest what happened in this game, it's not going to be egregious mistakes that led to the Leafs' loss. This is a playoff game that the Leafs lost. Yep. And it's slim margins for errors, and sometimes it's not getting a bounce here or there. The special teams battle is obviously at the forefront because the Leafs go 0 for 5 on the power play. They give up a goal shorthanded, and that's one of the biggest differences in the game. But you hear Morgan Riley talk about it. It's like, I don't know. There's just not going to be much that you look to when you watch the tape and digest things. It's going to be one of those ones where you say, we just lost. We lost a game, and that's the way the playoffs are. And one of the things that he said really stood out to me about it's not going to be right now. It's not going to be where you're playing in the offensive zone for a sustained period of time and then you reload and you just kind of go back at it. Like, that's not available to you in the playoffs. So the opportunities that you do get, you have to cash in.
Absolutely.
5-on-5, power play, because you know that the other team, they're going the other way, and now they're going to get their opportunity. And because you're a little more dialed in defensively, like it is a little bit of a flip-flop situation there. No one's really going to get that upper hand where they're carrying, 70% of the play. So, that little bounce or that momentary lapse in judgment or loss of focus, sometimes that's going to be the difference. And it's you can overanalyze it, but that's where we're at with the playoffs. It's the smallest little things that are going to make the differences.
So that brings me back to what I said about Marchand and the Bruins having the code on the officiating, because if you're on the ice, you have to understand how the game's being called because you have to adjust. And so when you see your buddy Austin Matthews go down and it's not called, you have to know that's a sign that there's going to be a little leeway here. And so then when you get into the Marchand-Bertuzzi one on the Frederick goal, probably not going to be called because seconds later the most obvious one wasn't called. So why would they start calling now?
Well, let me ask you something. Where was Brad Marchand for the portion of the game before that Trent Frederick goal? Did you notice him at all? No, exactly. No. Because you don't get engaged with him. He doesn't wake up. He doesn't put his imprint on the game. Like there's certain guys where before the game you sit there and you say, let that guy sleep. Don't wake him up. We don't need him involved in this game. And for the most part, like that Trent Frederick goal goes in at 17:37 of the second period. So you basically got through, 2 periods and Brad Marchand wasn't really a factor.
Absolutely. You woke him up.
But then that goes in. Now you woke him up. Then he scores the big go-ahead goal. You see the reaction on his celebration? He was jumping like Mike Foligno.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you woke him up.
That's a great comparison.
No, but that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
And like for Marchand, he's very effective when he sucks you into his game. And no one was really playing his game. The Leafs were playing around it. The Leafs were being physical on Zacha and Pasternak.
Yeah.
They were being physical around Marchand. But when you get into a stick's length of him, and you get into the clutching and grabbing, and you get into the cross-check.
He pulls you into that.
He pulls you in, but you don't have to do it.
No.
Like Tyler Bertuzzi, I love what Tyler Bertuzzi brings to the table, but in that moment, like where he got tripped up by Marchand, yes, it should have been a call. But gamesmanship, you didn't need to get into that altercation with him because all you did was now let Marchand has imprint on the game. And, yeah, the Frederick goal shouldn't go in, but that feeds into Marchand. And it's like it's like feeding a parasite, Jimmy. Like that's what it is.
You're just pouring gas on a fire.
He's played that game for so long, and he's so good at drawing guys into it. And then afterwards, you'll sit there and you say, "Was it worth it? Like, was it worth it to get involved with him?" No.
Well,
let that guy sleep.
And not to be negative to Tyler Bertuzzi, I thought played a really good game, but he then took the penalty late in the second period.
Yeah,
I didn't love the power play. I didn't like the call, but
yes, we can talk about the call. Yeah, like I didn't love the call, but when we watched the replay after.
When you isolate it on its own.
Yes.
That's different.
It's a hit. It's up high. He gets the forearm. He gets a little bit of the stick. You could have even called it high sticking. But
not anything different than Marchand did to
100%.
Bertuzzi earlier in the game.
You're 100% right. And I will say that Charlie Coyle really sold that. Like, he sold that better than you sold all those homes for Remax back in the day.
Yeah. He did. I can tell you that he did. Yeah. It's a bit of a struggle for me, but nonetheless.
The refereeing is going to be a story for sure because, there's big moments in the game where things aren't called, and that leads to, moments that change the outcome of the game. And goals happen because of that, but it's a close game, and we're talking a bounce here or a bounce there, and it's a different outcome.
Boston wins at 4-2. This is Leafs Game Night live from Scotiabank Arena on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
The NFL Draft is on SiriusXM. Take your pick on how to listen with the SiriusXM app.
With the first pick,
NFL Radio brings you every selection and exclusive interviews. 22. Hear insights from the experts that covered the players in college on SiriusXM College Sports Radio. Fantasy Sports Radio forecasts their fantasy football impact. And get instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio. The NFL Draft. Listen live, pause, and rewind. All on the SiriusXM app.
The playoffs are here.
Centering pass, score! Oh, what a sparkling save. And now McDavid has it again at center right. Left circle shot. Score!
16 teams made the cut.
And only one can bring home the prize.
Misfits to champions. The Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
Don't miss a moment. SiriusXM 91.
And the SiriusXM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
This is the NHL. These are pros. You don't want guys to put good power play units on, don't take penalties. You don't want good power play units to score goals when you've given up a whole bunch, kill them. You don't like it, do something about it. If you want to reward your guys who had a good game with a chance to get some more goals and points, do it. If I was a coach, I wouldn't care. Who cares? Worry about your own team. Don't worry about mine.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Montreal's Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations, Jeff Gordon. Do you have some priorities here heading to the offseason?
We're going to definitely let it blossom, but, we're looking for maybe ways to move it along, too. We have a lot of assets. We're looking for those opportunities to maybe use some of those assets to set us up at a higher level going forward.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs game night live from Scotiabank Arena. Jim Taddy and Frank Corrado with you. Boston wins 4-2 as a 2-1 series lead. So, Frankie C., let's go back to the first goal of the game. Nice setup by Mitch Marner. Very nice setup.
And you know what? Coming out of last game, you wanted to see Mitch Marner involved in the game in a positive way, and that's a great pass. And that's when I came up